Live from the happiest fan base in America for the first time in, a while. It's Pod by the River, episode 92. I'm just going to let my boy Hogdale take over.
Listen here, guys. Pod by the River, we're here. We're joined. It's a full house. This is about as full of fucking house as you can get. Hogdale, Ed, Justin, Brady is here. But we are joined. Steve-O's also here. We are joined by nobody but the number one Sox podcaster in the world. Came here to give you some game. It's the tribal chief. It's Jared Carrabis. Jerry, how you doing?
Hogdale, listen, man, this is a thrill for me. I'm excited to finally be on with you guys. I know it's taken far too long, and that's on me. I'm here to apologize. This is 100% my fault. You know what? I owe you guys an apology. So here I am to apologize, and for that, I will be here for as long as we want to talk Sox.
Jared, no apology needed, man. I mean, we know you're a busy guy. Father too. Yep,
About to be father of three. We
what?
March 22nd, we're getting a puppy.
That's awesome.
Yep.
That's fucking awesome, man.
March 22nd, the Eagle is landing. Yep, we got it. Yesterday we went to the pet store together, ordered a bunch of different. Dog pretty much has everything it needs already. Like it's on the way. It'll be here by the time dog gets here. So I'm very excited about that.
I love that. As a recent puppy father myself, happy for you. What kind of
dog? He is a mini golden doodle.
Yo, that's awesome.
Perfect.
Yeah,
I got a black lab personally. Little black lab. Little guy.
There you go.
I'm not gonna lie, Jared. Prior to the last events of the last couple of days, I was a little worried having you on that it was gonna be a morgue. I was really worried it was gonna be a fucking funeral environment of like, the Sox went into another season, not really having done as much as we think they should have. But we don't live in that reality. They fucking signed Alex Bregman, and we live in joy. It's so nice to live in an existence where the Red Sox are a real team again.
I feel alive again. Like I feel different. Like there's like this cloak of, I don't even know how to describe it. It's happiness, but I don't want to say it's cockiness because I know they're still not like the best team. It's not like when JD showed up in 2018 and it's like, okay, we have clearly the best team in baseball. I think for now it's more just you can't say that we suck anymore. And maybe that's pathetic to say that that's the bar, is that we don't suck anymore. Dare I say, everyone that I've talked to that I respect their baseball opinion has said playoff team. Like even Dallas, one of the biggest Red Sox haters going. I was like, playoff team? He's like, yeah, playoff team. All right, fine. Like if that's the expectation and that's what people on the outside are saying, then I'm happy going into the season with a team that not just I, as a Red Sox fanatic, feel like is a playoff team. If people on the outside are saying it, then yeah, like I walk different. I carry myself much differently now.
I do want to say that like the difference between having Bregman and not, it's funny where my brain goes because like I was obviously still excited for the seaon. I'm ready to start calling games again and everything. But
I'm
like
joining you, by the way.
Yes, yeah, you absolutely. You said that I think about a month ago when I first reached out to you about coming on the show.
Yes.
And it's gonna be fucking awesome whenever that does happen during the season. It's gonna be fucking lit. It'll be a blast. You'll also be the first guest I've ever had on a stream. I've done all the streams solo up until this point. So
I'll just sit back and watch you do your thing. I'm just happy to be a part of it.
I appreciate you, brother.
I'll just sit in the corner and not say anything. I don't care.
You can't miss that duo, man. I mean, Hogdale I mean, you brought this up on Section 10. Hogdale is about as electric as it gets. When shit is going right during these games, man, it's just you can't miss it. So having you two on at the same time is going to be fucking awesome. I can't wait to watch it.
Yo, I just want to say one thing, Jared. I'm not on this podcast very often, but you've come on my podcast, Small State Big Takes, a lot, a couple times. I've met you in person. You're the man. I just want to say, yeah, of course. And I'm gonna bail out after this. I'm doing some stuff, but I just want to say,
literally,
what the fuck?
No way. I'm here. We're going to pop in for a little bit, you know.
I'm here for this one statement. This is a big moment for me as a huge fan of Hogdale. When I met I met Carrabis a long time ago at a Sox Fest at Foxwoods, and my heart was beat out of my chest just to like approach him, right? Seriously. And I'll never forget it. I said, I feel like I'm meeting a famous guy, and you said, dude, I'm not fucking famous. And I'm like, yeah, but to us, like you represent.
Or now Steve's done.
It always remained true the whole way. Like it's been years, and the same energy that you have, that same love, comes through from Hogdale. I love this kid, and this is like the perfect like planets aligning thing. So thank you for coming on. That's all I had to say.
No
Jared,
doubt.
Remain cool. Hogdale, this is just perfect. That's all I had to say. Thank you.
I trust me, man. Because I said it too. I said, what was it? It must have been last year. Yeah, the end of 23, when like we were still doing Name Redacted, and I didn't know what was going to happen. I didn't know if I was going to stay with DraftKings. Like, I didn't know if Underdog was going to happen. Like Barstool, I didn't know if Barstool, like a reunion there was going to happen. But if we were going to stay at DraftKings, and I was like, I'm stealing Hogdale. Like, I'm sorry to all you guys, but I was like, we need a third, and like, this is the fucking guy. And then out of nowhere, the Underdog thing came together, and we were able to put Section 10 back together. And I was like, I have to take Tyler with me. I can't just be like, hey, thanks for the last 2 years of fucking keeping this thing afloat. Go fuck yourself. I'm going back with Coley and Steve. So yeah, then we put Section 10 back together. But I'm sure that's got to like suck to hear and also be cool at the same time. But yeah, like that, like you were my first round pick to poach you if we needed a third and it was just gonna be me and Milliken riding together.
I do, by the way, like I'm happy that's how the universe felt, and I'm happy that is how the universe felt because I fucking love Tyler so much. I think Tyler is electric. I think he's amazing. Like you're a Milliken. Can't wait to see what he does this year. But insane. Dude, when you said that on Section 10, like I've dealt with a couple self-confidence issues over the years. That was like the thing that finally, it was the biggest compliment I have ever received in my entire life. Genuinely. Yeah,
you're the guy. And like, I remember we were at Kowloon of all places. I remember I was at Kowloon and my sister, like I always talk about how like my parents, they never miss an episode, but like my sister is kind of the same way. And we were at Kowloon and I was like, showing her my phone, I was like, this is the guy. I was like, this is Hogdale. You need to know who Hogdale is. And I'm like showing my sister like Hogdale highlights, and she's like, I love him. He's great. He's perfect. So yeah, I mean, I think we should definitely do some like cross like podcast stuff this year. We didn't do a lot of that last year. We didn't like in the Name Redacted era, we did a lot of like interviews just because there was 2 of us, but now that there's 4 of us, like it's kind of hard with like the mix. But I definitely want to do some more like cross promo stuff with all the other like Red Sox podcasts that are out there now, especially you guys.
Fuck yeah. Absolutely. Plus, thanks, I mean, man. It was the first year back in Section 10. Everyone wanted to see the core, the team have a dynamic. Like,
yeah. And if I thought we were running out of gas, then I would have been like, all right, let's get some interviews in the mix. But I mean, you can just let Tyler talk and he will say something ridiculous. Like, you don't even have to like ask him a question. You just like prompt him to speak. Like we did the Blue Moon ad read. And all I said was like, hey, Tyler, you're gonna be drinking some Blue Moons this weekend? He's like, yeah, like my aunt died, and I'm gonna drink 65 Blue Moons at her funeral. I'm like, all right, anyway, so Jared. Yeah,
that's a lot of oranges consumed, by the way. If you're having an orange with each Blue Moon, that's got to be like 10, 15 whole oranges. So
ton of vitamin C.
I mean, you're hitting the fucking vitamin D requirement. You've
time.
DNC, yeah, fuck them both. Yeah.
Hey, Jared, gotta let you know real quick. That's how you got me originally. Was the ad reads. When I found you, a buddy of mine who I live in New York, so like it's hard, like Red Sox stuff, hard to come by. And he's like, dude, he's a huge Met fan. But he's like, he knew you from Barstool, and you were shredding the Yankees. Like, you would love this guy. So I'm like, all right, give it a listen. And it was the Omaha Steaks ad read. And I could not get through with Coley, would just go through. It was just I couldn't tell. My kids were little and listened to it, and they're like, Dad, this guy's something special. I'm like, oh hell yeah, man. And I'm like, the Omaha Steaks, it hit different. Love the Red Sox. Stay for the Omaha Steaks. That's what I'm saying.
It's the way that the ad reads have kind of like it's probably the only podcast where people don't skip through ad reads because you don't know what's going to happen. Like, like you start an ad read and it's just, you know, something will happen in the ad read that you need to pay attention to because it'll come up again later in the show. Like it's become like part of the show, which is crazy. Also, your reaction to Alex Bregman signing was fantastic, by the way. I'm glad that you were able to get out of bed for that. That was fantastic. Yeah.
I was a little excited. I'm not gonna lie, a little excited.
I mean, so were we.
I just have to ask you this: are you in agreement with me on this one? What percentage is the Theo Epstein effect in the? Now, I don't mean Theo in terms of like Theo was in the war room, but John Henry's been a little. I don't know what the word is.
Frugal.
Sure, we'll use that term.
Passive.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Non-existent.
But all of a sudden, 40 mil. That's not frugal, right? But I always felt like someone on the inside has to convince him it's okay. Like this is what we should do. Since Dave left, there hasn't been that guy, that voice. This is a Dave move, right? But someone's got to tell John, yes, it's okay. This is what you should do. Do you think where does the Theo trust-o-meter is it it's to me it reeks of Theo in a very sexy way.
It makes sense. So I mean, I can tell you, like, I know this thing got over the finish line because John Henry got involved. Like, first it was like Breslow, like, because I don't like to break news because I don't like being held accountable for my actions. So, so like I'll tell the listening audience what I'm hearing, and you can do with that what you will. Because I think there's a big difference between like I'm reporting that this happened versus I heard this happen and I don't know if it's true or not, but at least it's on your radar. So if someone else reports it, then you know that you heard it first. So with the whole Bregman thing, I was saying, like, letting people know, like, he doesn't have an offer. Like, he does not have an offer for a long time. People are like, Alex Bregman, is Bregman coming? Bregman coming? I'm like, yeah, why don't you tell the Red Sox to make a fucking offer first, and then maybe we'll have something to talk about. But until they put an offer on the table, what is he like? He doesn't even have something to select here. So it went from that to when he was made an offer. It's like, all right, knowing what the other offers are, cool. The Red Sox made an offer, but it's quite literally the worst offer that he has. I mean, objectively speaking, when the Red Sox made their first offer, knowing what the other offers were, it was the worst offer that he had. So when people were trying to be like, oh, you said 1% or less, I'm like, yeah, but I prefaced it by saying things can change, and they often do. But I remember word for word, verbatim said, if things stay the way they are right now, it's 1% or less. Things did not stay the way that they were. Their offer clearly improved. So the average annual value going to $40 million, to your point, maybe that is like, I don't know if Theo stepped in. I know John Henry stepped in. And this was after the shitty offer was made, that John Henry picked up the phone, reached out, and was like, we want him. Like, tell me how to make this happen. But I think John was conscious to not overstep Breslow. Like, you hired Breslow to do a job. So if Breslow is saying, yeah, I like the player, but only for 3 years, then you're going to sit there and say, well, he's not taking 3 years. He's like the camp or the reports are he wants 6 or 7. So if you want to go 3, then it's just not going to work. Like, we're not speaking the same language. Until John Henry is like, well, what about if it's $40 million a year? What if we pay him the same salary as Aaron Judge? Then do we have a conversation here? And that's where things changed. So in terms of did John Henry just say, I want the player that badly, and Breslow said this is what it'll take? I don't know. Did Scott Boras go directly to John Henry and say, if you guys are really stuck on 3 years and you won't go beyond that, it's going to take you $40 million to get the player? I don't know. If I were to guess, it might be a little bit of all of it, where Breslow is saying, if you hired me to do a job, I don't want to go beyond 3 years. So if you want him and I don't want to go beyond 3, then you have to go to 40. That could have happened. Scott Boras could have said, if you really won't go beyond 3 and he really wants to come to Boston, it's going to start with a 4. Okay. Theo might have been like, John, I know it's a lot of money, but we have to look at it this way. If it's deferred payments, then here's what the luxury tax hit is, and explaining it X, Y, and Z, and it's not really as bad as it seems, and blah, 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 blah. All three of those things could have happened. But to be able to sit here and tell you I know for a fact which one happened, I don't. But it wouldn't surprise me if any or all of those things happened.
I
So
do
you-
like the
it's
idea
Theo.
of like Theo moving things over the finish line, because that's the thing like I miss most about Dombrowski. Dave Dombrowski is like a snake charmer for making billionaires spend money. Because like I remember like when he went to Philly, like his first year, there were reports like the Phillies they're cutting payroll. They are not going to spend another dime. And I think they went on to drop like over $300 million worth of contracts in that offseason. So I don't know what the fuck Dombrowski's sales pitch is for whenever like he's trying to get a guy like on his team, like he went to John Air like, man, here's my entire package, my PowerPoint. It's the most convincing PowerPoint you've ever seen on why we need to extend Chris Sale a year early.
Here's my package.
$1 billion. Here's my
Basically,
package.
yeah.
Yeah.
Slap it on the table.
Yeah. All I know is that in 2018 we did a segment. I think it was when JD signed with the Red Sox, and I compared his dick to Thor's hammer.
Fair.
And I won't reveal who, but someone played that clip for him in like after he signed JD, and he loved it.
That's amazing.
I love that so much.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, Jared,
Speaking
I
of
heard
dicks.
you had that reduction surgery recently.
Yeah.
I've been trying to talk Hogdale into getting it just to make his life a little easier. He's been kind of resistant. Like, could you give him any advice on that?
Yeah, my advice, Hogdale, is when you're dealing with this problem, which I know yours is probably worse than what mine was, it builds character. So you want to have that self-inflicted adversity. Like, how old are you?
25.
Yeah, so like I'm 35. Like, you still have another decade to kind of bear this cross, to kind of go through life and be like, I've fought my battles, and I kind of at this point have earned the relief of the reduction. So I would recommend doing it in your mid 30s, because I think you probably you haven't really struggled yet, but when you get there, you'll know that it's time.
Yeah, you gotta live life, Hogs. I'm speaking theoretically, of course, but you gotta live your life like you have a big dick, Hogdale, and certainly your member is huge.
People know.
So
People
yes,
know.
yes,
Yeah. It's in his name. His name is
Yeah.
Hogdale. You think
Yeah.
that's just a coincidence?
That was,
Yeah.
no,
that
definitely
was
not.
not a conscious choice when I made my
Definitely
name off.
No, people know. So it is what it is. I mean, that's kind of your cross to bear now, is like, you've kind of got to live up to the hype, knowing that you're essentially advertising your situation. But yeah, once you hit your mid 30s and you kind of want to, like, once you settle down, obviously, and you're just like, all right, like, I've lived that life, then I would recommend going under the knife, because it is it's a relief. I'll tell you, it is.
How's your low back feeling now? Like, are you feeling a lot of the weight? Because you must have been pulled forward, just hunched all the time.
Every day.
Yeah.
Like I feel like a new man. Like, I'm just like, wow. I didn't know that life could be this good. But it is. And modern medicine is a beautiful thing. I'll tell you that right now.
Absolutely.
What an ad read this will be someday.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
You know what I want to say, Jared, you mentioned earlier about like like your mood shifting when it comes to Bregman and like, this is a playoff team. Me, I'm a prideful, arrogant motherfucker. So like the second we got Bregman, immediately my brain goes to who's stopping us. The American League is ours, motherfucker. The Yankees are our number one competition. Meet us in the playoffs and we'll fucking bitch you every day of the week. Like what? The AL Central? The AL Central is our biggest competition. Okay, sure, dude. The Royals are one Bobby Witt injury away from irrelevance. Like, get the fuck out of my face.
That's
the
mean.
Guardians, fucking.
The Rangers are sneaky
You're the
good.
Rangers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rangers could be sneaky good now that DeGrom's back, but I mean, he's I hate to say it, but like, obviously he's not making 30 starts. The Yankees, they're not better than they were last year. They might still be better than you, but until we see it, like, I'm looking at their roster and it's just like a lot of guys are getting up there. Like, their best players, like our best players, are fucking teenagers. And their best players are like, I don't know, mid 30s. Like Aaron Judge is getting up there. Garrett Cole's getting up there. Stanton, I mean, he could barely walk. Like these are their best players. So I don't know. We've already had like the Aaron Judge like miss significant time. So the Yankees missed the playoff opportunity. Like I feel like it just sucks that like that was the year. Like if Aaron Judge crashed into the fence in LA this year, then I'd be like, oh, we're going to the World Series. Like, yeah, who was stopping us?
Yeah.
I would hate to bank on an Aaron Judge injury as the way that the Red Sox get to the World Series, but I don't think it's crazy. I think like we were talking about it this morning in the Scoop Shop, and I was surprised to see how much enthusiasm there was to pull off a Dylan Cease trade, because I think if it is a Cease trade situation, Willier is the guy that's going out the door, and Roman Anthony's 20. Like, do I think that he could have a good year this year? Sure. But like, I'd like to see him get a little bit more time down there. Because if you don't have Willier, then it's what? Duran, Roman Anthony, welcome to the big leagues, and Rafaela.
You can put
Like,
Campbell out there.
Yeah, but he's probably going to be playing second base for you. I don't know. Did Alex Cora, like, I know, like, we don't, none of us here cite Boston Strong as a credible source.
No, absolutely not.
he tweeted something about Devers' shoulder soreness and why he's not throwing. And I assume because Cora was having a press conference at the same time, that account never properly cites anyone. So I was like, did Cora just say this during the press conference? Are you just tweeting this because you FaceTime with David Ortiz allegedly? Or like,
Sure.
I didn't know where that information came from. So I didn't want to pass it off as if though it was real. But if it is real, if he has shoulder soreness already, then they're kind of planting the seeds of like, oh, like, why don't we, let's just start him at DH because he has to, not because we're moving him off because we signed Alex Bregman. Just makes more sense, you know, to have, if he's not throwing, he can still hit though. So why don't we just have him at DH? Oh, everything just fell into place and it's working. Let's just keep it that way. All right. Yeah, that's fine. So I think it could be a little bit of that. But it in terms of out of all the guys, the prospects that they have, Christian Campbell is the one guy that if you told me today, like without seeing him play in spring training or against like big league hitters, hey, we're that confident that he's going to be our second baseman, I'd be like, yep, I'm with you. Sounds good to me. Like, I'm not like, oh, I don't know. Like, you don't want to put too much pressure on the kid. I'm like, all right, yeah, let's roll. Like, Campbell's the dude.
No,
Jared.
but Jared, everyone's like, no, we got to get another look at Vaughn Grissom first, guys. We got to play Vaughn Grissom ahead of.
No.
You know,
Yeah, let's get into this. Yeah.
Okay.
No, genuinely, let's get into this because
Yeah.
Are we
it's the
so
most
divided
laughable
on
fucking
Vaughn
thing I've
Grissom?
ever heard.
Yes, we are.
This is
Okay.
that's the line of
I may
demarcation.
have gained a reputation as Vaughn Grissom's number one op. You know, I may
Okay.
have done it
So
deservingly so or not. You know,
is the dividing line just Hogdale?
I think I don't know. I think Brady's on one side, Hogdale's on the other, and I think I'm kind of in the middle. Ed, where are you on this?
I get both sides of it. I think that Campbell's going to be the better player, and it's not particularly close. But I also think that Grissom is too good that you just kind of dump him. I think that you have to try to get his value up enough that you can actually get something back for him if and when you trade him. But when does that even happen? How do you even do that? Do you force him to play second base when you have better options?
The second they signed Alex Bregman, I'm like, okay, Vaughn Grissom is a complete afterthought in my brain because I'm not trying to hold up Christian.
I haven't thought about him in months.
Wait, hold on.
Exactly.
Hear me out. There's an easy solution where everyone can be happy. Okay, just hear me out. Willier Brave goes in a trade. Thank you, Willier. We appreciate all that you've done. Vaughn Grissom, right? You're back. You're a baseball player again. Everyone in the world can play left field except for Hanley Ramirez. He's the only guy that can't.
Apparently, Massa also.
Well,
Yeah.
that's true, right? So you put Vaughn Grissom in left field because he really doesn't play a great second base. But if you put him in left field, or hear me out, you lost a lefty outfielder. There is a guy named Alex Verdugo out there.
Oh my God. Oh my fucking God. Jared, suspend him. Suspend him. Suspend him.
That's my most sarcasm. If I had to say
That is unbelievable.
You're done with the Alex Verdugo in the year 2025, bro.
That is unbelievable.
I don't think his phone rang once this winter. He's like, oh, like, did people think that I changed my number or something? No, just no one wants you on their team. No, unfortunately, which is sad because I don't know. He was nice to us when he was here, but I mean, I don't even like the only person that I could see having that take Steve Peralt. And you don't want to have
Yeah, that is a Steve.
Yeah.
Steve would be like, oh yeah, let's bring back Doogie. Like, no, how about you fuck yourself?
I will join ISIS if Verdugo comes back to Boston. I promise. I will just that will be unbelievable.
Yeah. I think that bridge has been very much burned.
Yeah.
So Vaughn Grissom, left fielder, confirmed. Thank you.
Yeah, no.
He was running his mouth a fuck ton for a guy who ended up having a dog shit season.
Yeah,
in New York,
even the White Sox were like, you know what, we're just going to give Joey Gallo a minor league contract and not even reach out to Verdugo. That's just what we're going to do.
Yeah.
My stance on the whole Vaughn Grissom thing is he's young enough to just stay in the minors, work on what you got to work on, and you know, if the time comes and you want to bring him up to be a bridge guy or a depth guy or whatever, like he's out there. And I really don't see the reason why he would be on the active roster unless someone else is hurt, to be honest with you.
The biggest problem I have with Vaughn Grissom in left field is like if Willier is is like, no, that's Roman Anthony's spot. That's him or Campbell are out there. Like if they're both in the corner outfield spots, or if Campbell's at second or whatever. And like Roman Anthony needs a spot. I'm a firm belief that by the end of the year, like the best version of the Boston Red Sox has Roman Anthony and Christian Campbell on it. Maybe Anthony doesn't have to come up at the beginning of the year, but I think the best version of the team has both. And it's like you were saying earlier, Jared, with Raffy and the shoulder soreness thing possibly being a thing. The best version of this team really does have Raffy DHing. I love Raffy so much. Great player. One of the faces of the team, obviously. Everything just slides into place so much more evenly if he's just simply DHing and then forget about Masataka Yoshida because the Red Sox hate him. Like they hate him so much. Holy shit. They think this guy's the worst player ever, even though he's not. He's a good player. He's got a useful skill set, but they don't like him.
Also, I'll ask you guys a favor because let's just say Raffy gets moved off third base and he becomes a DH. Do not let the narrative that he's unhappy about that become a thing. Because he's already expressed like that he might be okay with it for certain, not for anyone, but like for certain individuals, he's been like, yeah, okay. Like I would move off third for player X.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Alex Bregman is an elite defender. So if he's okay with certain people, I would say an elite defender, like I'm just putting 2 and 2 together here. I would venture to guess that Devers would be okay with Bregman playing third base because it's not like I'm better than like I'm a better player than you. It's like, bro, like we're all getting paid a lot of money here. Like we're all getting paid a ton of money. And if he's being, because the other thing too is his agent is the only one that's made a fuss about this. Devers has not said a word. It's all been his agent. So if Devers ends up moving to DH full time, no part of him is going to sit there being like, man, like they moved me off there for a way worse third baseman. Like, no, dude. Like, this is a player. He's the polar opposite of an Anthony Rendon, where I mean, the 2021 playoffs was so much fun and it was such a fun ride. But when you look back on it, you're like, man, like Devers went up there with his fucking arm hanging off his body. But he was going up there and still smacking homers, but in pain every swing. So a player like that wants to win. Alex Bregman wants to win. If it came down to it where they did move Raffy to DH, I'm sure that there are going to be some negative media members or just people who want to stir shit up that will try to make that a storyline. I don't think that that'll be the case. And because Raffy is so quiet, I don't know that he'll comment on it one way or the other. I don't think that he'll just do it. And it is what it is.
We will refute that take. If we see it out there, we will make it our life's mission to refute that take.
Yeah,
so
don't let the Dan Shaughnessy's win. Even though even he's positive recently. You see that?
Yeah. And that's when you know things are going right. That's like the barometer. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I my favorite part of, because I'm a certified hater. I love hating. I thrive off negativity. The thing that I've been seeing the most, and it's really fucking making me laugh, is now the narrative is John Henry is giving out too much money. $40 million a year for a guy like Bregman, which these are the same people that were begging for a move like this to happen. And I don't know if you're seeing the same takes that I'm seeing, Jared, where it's just, I mean, you know, I kind of sometimes like to flood people's timelines with that shit, and I apologize for that, but sometimes I just can't keep my mouth shut, man. You know, I see all these takes, and I'm sorry.
You pop up, I'm like, who's he fighting with today? It's always someone.
Yeah.
No, I trust me. That was me. For a long time. I mean, I'll still get in the mud, and but I need to know that it's a layup victory for me before I get in there.
For sure.
I love a good tweet beef. But yeah, I think for the most part, the takes, like, I understand some of the sentiment that you're talking about with like the, you know, people, those takes are on Facebook. Like there's a such thing as a Red Sox Facebook take. Like if you told me, like, describe a Red Sox Facebook take, it is the dumbest, most illogical take that on this. It's almost like if, say, something Red Sox related happened, try to fabricate the most cliche dumb take that you can come up with. That's what people are saying for real on Facebook.
That's Alex Verdugo come back to the Red Sox. That's a Facebook take right there.
Similar, yeah.
Brady's the right age for that, though. So
no. Brady has had a lot of really good non-Facebook takes. Yes, no, that was just one off.
He just had he had a senior moment. It's okay.
That was a one-off. We'll reel him back in. You know,
you don't want to have a Red Sox Facebook take and saying that they paid him too much money. Well, it's like, do you want the player or not? Because if you do, then they had to pay him. They had to overpay, and that's fine. Like that, but it's also deferred. So what do you care about the money that he's making in 2057? Like, you don't. So if you just said, yeah, he's making like similar money to Raffy, like, you're going to be okay with Raffy making 30 million just to hit. But what about Bregman playing elite defense and being a right-handed bat that's probably going to, like, I don't know what his OPS plus would be. Like, if he has what, 100 and what's realistic, 120?
Who's this for, Devers or Bregman?
Bregman.
Yeah, I would say between 120 and 140. Sure. Yeah.
I think so. Like, you're more than like for call it 30, like that's what you're paying in real money, $30 million. Like, sure. Yeah, I'll take that 10 times out of 10.
Yeah, I mean that's easily like a what, 5.5, 6 word season, you know, with that defense. I think so.
He's
right?
4.5, I'm happy.
Yeah.
That's a great year for him.
I'm also sorry, like, we're like overpaying on an AAV on a 3-year deal. Fucking cry me a river. Who cares?
That could very well end up being a 1-year deal.
Exactly. Like, if he opts out, it's a 1-year deal. It's like, well, you gave a dude $40 million for 1 year. Who gives a shit? Genuinely, who gives a fuck?
Yeah.
And I should say, for a guy who gets ripped for being a little older than everyone else here, I believe the term is seasoned. I being there in 2004 while Dave Roberts is stealing the bag, and
I was there.
Yeah, well, then I was sitting right next to you. Just didn't know, right? You know what I mean?
Just didn't know.
Driving 3.5 hours each way for games 3, 4, and 5. Boom, boom, boom. Right, to be there for that. Yeah, I have a little perspective on what it takes to be a franchise that never wins. I mean, ever. My grandfather, born in 1918, went the whole lifetime, never saw it. Well, he was alive in 2004, but dementia kicked in, and he said, I'm a Yankee fan, which that was terrible. That was yeah. And I was a grandpa.
That's like a horror movie plot.
Oh, it was my father and I would just bawl our eyes. I were like, we hate the Yankees. Like, I really, in the depths of my soul, hate the Yankees. It brings me full joy to see something go wrong. So, like, I don't want the Aaron Judge injury at all, because I know they'll never win a World Series with him on the team. I said it. I'll stand behind. He can't let that drop fly ball in center field. That's it. I've seen that play many times for the Red Sox. You have too, Jared, right? Mm-hmm. When the lights get bright, some guys step up and other guys, well, they turn into Jose Offerman. And that's exactly what Aaron Judge did. That's who he is. I mean, look, he doesn't hit in the postseason at all. And now he's going to catch fly balls. We're good. I want to be there for that. When he put that boom box on in, was that
2018? Yeah.
2018. That's a loser move. That's a loser move. That's who he is. And
But to that point, he was a good postseason hitter. It was basically after the boombox that he sucked in the playoffs.
yeah,
Like he had like an OPS over 1,000 in the postseason until the boombox, and then never saw success ever again.
Yeah.
Again.
I don't think there's ever been a single greater loss of aura in a single act than like him playing the boombox in 2018.
No,
it was great. I respect it. Like he said, I'm going to go total nosedive, and he's just going to see it through.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Love it. Yep.
Yeah.
How did we get here?
How did we
get to this take?
I have no fucking idea.
I'm confused.
I just want to rip on
I
Aaron
think-
Judge.
Oh, okay, all right, yeah,
you had accused him of some Facebook takes. and
right.
I-
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
I've got a great take for you. And
He pulled out his greatest take ever.
yes,
Jared, I got a question for you. Of all
me.
of the many Red Sox mediums out there, the Twitter, the Facebook, the Reddit, the Blue Sky, Sons of Sam Horn, so on and so forth, which one is your favorite?
MySpace.
Let's go.
Is that still around?
No, but I wouldn't be here without it, so it's got to be my favorite. Yeah,
That's fair.
literally.
So I'm not actually 100% familiar with your origin story. Could you give me a rundown of like why MySpace is so relevant for you? Because I know vaguely, but I wasn't around there for it.
I started pretty much the first fan page on social media in history. like MySpace was the first social media website, and it was all just people that had profiles. And then this dude had a page that just said Red Sox, and people treated the comment section on his page like a forum, and people would go there in the off season to talk about, rumors, basically how we treat Twitter now is the comment section on this MySpace page. And that like, it was just like, I was good with HTML back then. So like my MySpace page was dressed up, and the guy like that ran it was like, here, like, I see you on here all the time. Like, I see your page. You could do more with this than I could. It had like 3,000 friends on it. And he just gave me the login, and then I dressed it up and changed it and called it Sock Space. And then it went to like 200,000 friends, what are known as followers now, within like a year and a half. And then that was 2006. So by 2007, it's like they win the World Series. Everyone's going crazy about the Red Sox again. And then Major League Baseball, like this was like, I was basically the first like copyright strike of like the Major League Baseball handed. They were like, wait a second. So Major League Baseball shut down my page, and it was right before the playoffs started. It was like summer of 2007. And that's when they were having the Red Sox Nation president election. So it was like me, Jerry Remy, and Sam Horn. And like, I'm 18 years old at the time and very shy and quiet. And I'm battling Major League Baseball at the same time as these people like Matt Damon and like Ben Affleck and Peter Gammons are involved in this fucking thing. I'm just like, what is going on? Like, I just graduated high school. And Tom from MySpace like messaged me, and he was like, because he's a big San Francisco Giants fan, so he loves baseball. So he messaged me, and I thought it was a joke. But like the classic Tom from MySpace picture was in my inbox, and he was like, "Hey man, love the site." He's like,
Wow.
"I got my lawyers on it. We're gonna get it back for you, no problem." Because Major League Baseball shut down my page for having like official logos or something. I don't know. So then Tom from MySpace got my page back, and then I mean the attention from that, just beating Major League Baseball as an 18-year-old. Got even more eyeballs on it, and then I eventually built a website that, because once MySpace died, I needed somewhere to go. So that's when I built my website and kind of just kept going from there. But
What
it
was
all
your
started on
website?
MySpace. It was sockspacenews.com. Then it was sockspaceboston.com, because someone just stole sockspace.com and they wanted me to pay them for it. I was like, I'll just add another word and not pay you anything.
That's
Can I just
wild, though,
say-
as like an 18-year-old, as like, I mean, when that guy asked you to take over the fort, you were what, like 14, 15?
I was 16. Yeah.
Wow.
So like I remember I mean this is obviously I won't say what it is because it's not it's not something I would do now. But when I was 16, I had like one of my buddies that was like writing with me, and it was the 2006 season. And on April Fool's Day, we put out like a fake story. And I remember going to work that day. My boss was like, "Yo, did you hear about the thing?" And I was like, "What?" Like I didn't like this is like the infancy of social media. Like I had no idea like how, the reach that something like that could have. But yeah, like it was very big. Like I was basically living a double life the last couple of years of high school where like no one that I went to high school with gave a shit about it, but like I would go to Fenway and people would know who I was. And like every morning I would wake up to 200 messages. Like you're interacting with people all throughout the country that knew about the site and everything. And yeah, but like you would just like, it's very similar to my life now. Like now it's like a bigger scale, but like I can go to Walgreens and no one gives a shit. Like it's not like that, but I go to Fenway and it's much different. Like it was kind of similar back then where, I would go to high school and no one had a clue what I was doing when I would go home and be on the internet for the rest of the day and the rest of the night. But yeah, no, I wouldn't be here without MySpace for sure.
Does that give you, like, as a 16-year-old, 17-year-old, does that give you a little bit of an ego where, like, you're at school and you're like, oh, these guys don't even know when I go home, when I go to Fenway?
No, because I did not realize what I had until after high school. Like it didn't register to me as something that like could become my career because there was no job opportunities for people like me, people like us, where it's like, yeah, we're fans, and I'm not gonna. If I'm a journalist, you have to like leave your fandom at the door, and I wasn't willing to do that. So I mean, it was the Globe, it was the Providence Journal, it was the Herald, and they never would have hired someone like me that was just a Red Sox fan. It's like, well, we don't like you're on the other side of the fence. Like we write for people like you. Like we don't have people write for us that are like you. So yeah, I mean, I didn't look at it at the time as a career opportunity with a social media following. Like now, if you were to spawn with 200,000 followers, then you'd be like, all right, cool. Like I'm probably going to do this for a living. But in 2006, no, it's just like, all right, cool. You have a lot of people that read your blog. Like now, like my parents will be proud of me. Like that's really all it was. It's like parents' pride dollars was all it was worth to me at the time.
What do you consider your job to be? Is it like influencer, or is it more than that? Like how, I guess, like if you were to be applying for something, like how would you describe it?
Content creator, I guess. Yeah. I mean, like influencer, like very rarely will you see me turn my camera towards myself. This is something that like my girlfriend and I will have this conversation. She's like, well, you never take pictures of us. I'm like, I never do that. Like, I don't do that with anyone. I've never done. I didn't do this before you. I don't do. I'm uncomfortable doing it for work. Like when I do the State of the Nation videos, which I haven't done those in a long time because there hasn't been anything good to talk about. I will take my camera and prop it up against my laptop and talk to my camera like that because there's just something about doing this that bothers me. I don't know, but
yeah,
I wouldn't consider myself an influencer, more just like a content creator. Like we make podcasts, we make videos. Like it's more like if you would ask me this 2 years ago, I would have said I'm just a podcaster. But I think now when we have so much stuff going on with the YouTube, and I think just going to Fenway, it's great to have a Steve because Steve has a sense for the moment where he'll just record stuff and it's a funny video and we can just put that out and it's good content. But if I don't have a Steve, I'm not going to be the one to take out a camera myself and film myself. But I would say if there's a funny clip of me out in the wild, Steve took it. So like you need a Steve, or at least I do, because I feel uncomfortable filming myself.
it's like a quality over quantity type of he's not whipping his phone out every single chance he gets, but when he does, it's going to be something funny or something worthwhile for sure. Yeah. And that's another thing about MySpace too. I mean, when back in its heyday, I remember doing the coding too. We were all like, we could have been, doctorates in coding and HTML. Yeah. And then I lost it all. I don't remember shit now, but that's
I remember
shout out MySpace.
Like the bracket, and it's like
The only
href equals, and then you put the link in. That's like how to like hyperlink stuff.
The only thing I remember is the bracket BR bracket, because that was like a space, and that was really important. I had an Angel Fire website.
Yeah.
I don't even know what that is.
That was, I think, even before MySpace.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I remember like there being like a bunch of like wrestling, like WWF Angel Fire websites where they would just have like pictures. I'm like, yeah, this is cool.
it's like a fucking picture book online.
It's really what it was. Yeah.
My dad had a fucking dressed up MySpace page. His like it would like play "Welcome to the Jungle" as it opens up, and like a bunch of like all the Boston sports teams logos would like cascade slowly down the screen.
Sounds about right.
On.
MySpace was the shit.
Yeah, MySpace was really cool. And
I wish you could do that on Twitter. That'd be fucking cool.
Yeah. That makes me feel old that your dad had a MySpace with all the decorations on it.
I hated hearing that. Yeah. I hated that.
Yeah, my bad. You gotta read the room a bit.
Yeah. But Brady, to answer your question, no, Theo was not really involved in the
Red Sox lose 9-7.
But
I think ages ago we were talking about the Yankees a little bit and like how they were better or worse. In my head, I think the Yankees were maybe a better team over 162. I think they are a worse team in the playoffs without Juan Soto. Like even with all those bats, I think when a guy like Judge is slumping in the biggest games, you don't have the highest end elite talent to put your team on your back. Like Soto's gone. Like you're telling me that Cody Bellinger's going to do that. You're telling me that age 8 million Paul Goldschmidt's going to do that. You're not convincing me. Over 162, I could see them being a better team. In the playoffs, I think they are worse.
I'm not even that impressed by the Max Fried signing. And this is coming from someone that really wanted the Red Sox to sign him. But you look at that rotation, it's all like 30-something-year-old lefties and Jarrett Cole. Like it's not doing that much for me by that point in the season when their arms are exhausted.
Yeah, they got Marcus Stroman, kid.
Oh my god.
It's actually really encouraging to see that. I mean, I think as a Red Sox podcast, we've done a ton of Yankees talk, but I think the reason for that is they're pretty much the only team that we should be really aimed on. Them and Jared, you mentioned the Rangers, which is totally fair. But it's good to see that the Red Sox can be back in that conversation. I think I fairly have them at 89 wins. What do you guys have? Any predictions, Jared?
I told Tony this morning 80 to 89 was where I was going to probably fall. Like I feel like I don't like doing round numbers.
Yeah,
it felt like 90 was too ambitious.
Right.
So I was like, I'll probably going to land on 89.
89's a good number. And just as a number, 89 is great.
Yeah, it's solid.
Hogdale, what do you think?
It was a 95 win team, brother.
All right.
They're taking the goddamn American League. They're taking the fucking Boston Red Sox are going to win the goddamn American League East, and no one can fucking convince me otherwise. And listen, the haters will say that I'm overstepping, that I'm a little too early. I'd tell them to suck my fucking dick and balls. Listen here, man. This team has the only weakness on this team isn't even really weakness. Like the bullpen, maybe there's a few question marks, but like in terms of the young options on the team who I think can ascend to take, a higher role in the bullpen, I'm a full believer in Justin Slayton. I've been on record multiple times saying I think he'll be the closer by the end of the season. I also think in terms of overall pitching depth and their starting pitching, they haven't had this much depth in forever. I'm not worried at all about starting pitching over 162. And now with Bregman, I'm looking at the lineup. I'm like, that's a top 10 offense. And especially if Campbell ends up being the stud we think he's going to be, like top 5 offense, Roman Anthony comes up, he's a stud. I'm just saying, man, all the fucking there's some like the what if questions compared to previous years on like where you need to get by and like you need amazing performances in order to break even. There just aren't as many of those this year with this team, like by a lot. Like last year, I was saying like if everything breaks right, maybe you're a smidge above mediocre and you sneak into a wild card spot. And most things did break right for the team last year, and they were fucking mid. You know, Chargers were in a fucking 9-war season basically. The pitching staff was very good for the most part. Bullpen collapsed at the end of the year, but they were mid. This year, if everything breaks right in a similar way to things how things broke right last year, I think this is easily a mid-90s win team, if not high 90s, if everything breaks right.
Well, you just can't have guys like Story and Casas going down for extended time. Like you say, like I don't know, Bregman and I don't know, like say Willie Abreu, the starting right fielder or something. They both go down. That's a little tougher, but. I don't know. 95 seems like a lot. I'm at 90 right now. I'm very happy with 90.
Up your ambition.
It's a 93.
I support your pick, Hogdale. I'm scared to climb the ladder too high and then look down and realize how high up I am because I haven't been up this high in a long time. So I have a little bit of a fear of heights at this point. So I'm trying to stay modest so that because I don't want to, what I don't want to have happen is pick them to win 95 games, have them win 95 games and be like, man, I was right, versus I had them at 89 and man, they really exceeded my expectations. And this was a season that I didn't exactly see coming. I could see them absolutely. And I do think that they'll be a playoff team. I'm going to pick them to be a playoff team, but if they were to win the division, that would surprise me. That would
Jared,
it's a valid, like, you know, surprising kind of take as you're just seeing where they've been the last couple of years. My fears come in the playoffs, funnily enough, because this is still a very young team.
Mm-hmm.
So like this might be a year where maybe like you get to the playoffs and you fail early. That's where my fear lies. But like in terms of 162, I love where this team is sitting right now.
I'm going to tell you, climb the ladder. It's okay. Climb it. It's okay.
Climb it.
Right?
It's okay.
Who's your manager?
My manager is my manager. That's who my manager is.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. That's your manager. Who's your number 5 starting pitcher?
Ooh, I mean, right now it's probably Giolito, right?
Yeah,
Who
it's
was
got to be.
supposed to be your number 1 starter last year?
Yeah.
Fair.
Okay. That's where we are. That's the world we live in right now. Okay. The depth is all around. You want to bring up the Quinn Priester? Sure. Dick fits. You know it does, right?
If the dick fits, yeah.
And you must have quit, right? You know that this is a 93-win team, and this team is before Roman Anthony has even had a chance to settle in. Before Christian Campbell has had a chance to settle in. There are pieces to move if need be. You can always bring in. This is the 2017 Red Sox right now. That's what this is.
Don't like hearing that.
No. This is the step.
Division
right?
winner.
What happened?
Okay. All right. Yeah.
What happened the next year? What happened the next year? We all know what happened next year.
Yeah.
This is where
and they got eliminated by a team that was cheating. Who knows what would have happened if that?
Yeah. So
back World Series champions.
Taking the Yankees fan take on that. Yeah. I mean, they definitely won the World Series that year for sure.
Yeah.
They would have beat everybody else. So yeah. Yep.
I think so.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Climb the ladder. It's okay. Right. It's all right.
93 is a really good number too. If I didn't pick what did I say? 89, I think. I already
89,
forgot.
yeah.
89, yeah.
89
You can revise it. It's okay.
Nah, I'm gonna stay 89 because I like 89 as a number. Preferentially, if that's even a word. But yeah, no, 93 is a good number too. I think just kind of speaking on the depth conversation, I think Hogdale's right in saying that the team has like a ceiling of a 95 win season, but they have the depth to, even if they kind of miss a couple guys for a long period of time, now they have an incredible amount of depth that they could even still be a playoff contender if they lose a few guys like that. So that's actually really exciting. That's a conversation that not a whole lot of people are having, which is fair because there's a lot of stars to talk about as well. Especially Bregman, but I mean, Quinn Priester throws 97 miles an hour is your number 8 starter. That's fucking awesome. That's great. Dick Fitz, who showed a lot of promise last year, is your probably number 7 starter somewhere along those lines. And we can get into Dylan Cease. That's kind of a conversation that's in its infancy right now. If that happens, great. I would like to assume that maybe a guy like Cutter Crawford goes and kind of clear up a little bit of that rotation depth as well.
What have you heard with Cease, Jared?
Yeah.
I heard that Sean McAdam reported that the Red Sox are interested in Dylan Cease. I heard that.
Yeah.
Did he? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was breaking news this morning. As everyone learned about this on Sunday. I learned about that. It was an interesting piece.
He's got some great sources, Sean McAdam.
Yeah.
He's fucking locked in.
Great way with words too.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah. I was saving this take, but I'll drop it here first.
Juicy.
How bullshit is it that the Red Sox media brought up 2017 to Alex Bregman during his press conference, but did not bring up the domestic violence when Chapman met with the media?
I think the proper response to that is I'm not shocked, but I'm also still disappointed.
Like, what do they think? Chapman's gonna fight them if they say something? Like when Alex Verdugo came here, he had to readdress his stuff. Alex Bregman this morning, they asked him about 2017, but Chapman came here and they're like, "Oh, so like you throw really hard, right? Like you like it?"
Yeah.
Like, hello.
That's so true. And then it also doesn't pair well with, was that also McAdam? The piece he wrote about Chapman, like we called him like a survivor.
Yeah,
which is
and
the most insane thing.
I like Sean McAdam. I don't want to pick on Sean.
Good dude.
But
he's a good guy.
As a group,
that's crazy.
Because I don't know who I don't know. I didn't recognize the voice of who asked Bregman about 2017.
I don't know either.
I didn't recognize that voice. But like, how are you gonna ask him about that and not like you asked Verdugo about his thing, you asked Bregman about his thing, but you just suck Aroldis Chapman's dick? Like, what do we like out of all the things that were brought up? Like, that was the worst one.
Yeah.
Like, well, welcome to Boston. Happy to have you.
Have they asked about the video with Aroldis Chapman and his mom?
No, I mean I'm sure they didn't. If they didn't bring up the biggest elephant in the room, they're not going to bring up the second biggest elephant in the room either.
Yeah, like, how do you not ask him like, hey, like you have a little bit of a cloudy past here. How do you think you'll be received by Red Sox fans? Like, that's an interesting question to ask. No one asked it.
Yeah, and it's unlike Boston media to not bring up the elephant in the room. I feel like that would have been the first question that they would have asked, but I guess they just didn't really care about the answer. So that's shame on them, I think.
Well, because like shit like that is just like, it just reinforces the reputation. It's like, see, this is why no one likes you guys. Like we're focusing on, like, are we being serious? And I like a lot of like our media guys. Gatillo's, seems like a nice guy. He's always been cordial to me. McAdam does seem like a cool guy, but just like as a collective, like the Boston media, you guys, the bad reputation is earned. Like it's there. There, that's unfair. It's
there. It's less now. It used to be way worse. Way
sure.
worse.
Yeah.
And I'm not even saying that like the question needed to be asked. He's spoke on it. Like he had a suspension and he's spoken on it. I don't know that you're hearing anything new from him if you ask him about it again. I just don't understand, because like Bregman has spoken on 2017. Like, he was the guy that was standing up there to represent the organization when he had to talk about 2017. So I don't know, like, it was just almost like the precedent had been set that, hey, if you have a thing, we're going to ask you about it when you get here. But they didn't do it with Chapman. It was just it stood out to me.
I do want to say though, like with Bregman, I got to say, I'm very proud of myself and my long-term takes here, because I was on the boat early saying, I don't give a single fuck about the Astros cheating scandal. In fact, winners usually cheat. So you know what? I hope he brings some fucking secret cheating techniques to the Red Sox so we can more effectively fucking win.
Yeah.
It's nice. I just want him to know that, I've been backing him since day fucking -50. I've been here for you, brother.
Yeah. I'm with you. Like, I was... when the cheating scandal broke, I was more fascinated by it because of just how crazy it was. It didn't enrage me. I wasn't like, we need to stone these guys to death. I was more fascinated with, how did you do it? who was involved, who else was doing that. Like, other teams were doing it, and the Astros were absolutely scapegoats. Which is why I found it so interesting that there were so many players that were outspoken about it. And I'm like, you probably did the same shit or something similar.
Or tried to. Yeah.
Or at least tried to. Like, if you were on, or if you were in their position, would you have gone along with it? Probably. But yeah, I was probably one of the first to just be like, who fucking cares about this anymore? I think I remember having a tweet being like, this is great for baseball. Like, no one, like, there's the diehard circle, then there's like the casuals, and then like we've broken outside of the layer where people who don't give a flying fuck about baseball are talking about baseball because of this. And how the Astros continued to go to the ALCS every single year. Like, you need a villain in your story arc. It's like, I understand it's like if you're a baseball fan, you care about the athleticism and the superstar players, but I love a good story. I'm a wrestling fan. Like, you need the villain. You need the good guy and the bad guy. And the Astros filled the void of the bad guy for almost a decade. So, I mean, yeah, you can cry. Like, I don't care about steroid users. Like, none of that. Like, I would vote for any person. Like, I would vote for Manny Ramirez. He's tested positive 90 times. I don't care. Like, he's a Hall of Famer. I've never cared about anything like that. The only time that I care hypocritically is if you do it to me. If you cheat against me, then you're a bad person and you deserve to burn in hell. But if you're just doing it and it has no effect on my life, then yeah, I support it.
That's an interesting take too, because I think in the late 90s, early 2000s, that the heel was the Yankees, and that was probably one of baseball's best eras is the late 90s, early 2000s. So baseball is always better when it has a heel element to it.
Are the Dodgers the heels now, or is Shohei and Mookie and Freeman, those guys, are they too likable?
They're too likable.
They're tweeners.
Yeah,
like it's like, I hate you because of how good you are, but it's really hard to hate. Like, you can't hate Shohei. You can't hate Freddie Freeman. Like, when Mark Teixeira went to the Yankees, you're like, oh, we can hate this guy. He looks like a dork. Like, this guy is an absolute dork. But Freddie Freeman, it's like, he's kind of cool. He's super nice. Just one of the most generous, most kind people that you're going to come across in the sport. Mookie, hit or miss in terms of if you like the guy. But you undeniably phenomenal talent, and Shohei is the most popular player that we've seen since Griffey.
Yeah, that's fair.
So
I came back from Japan yesterday, and a shock to nobody. Shohei's face is fucking everywhere. But you know what? Like, it's not really like that here in the States. I mean, he's around as baseball's face. Like, he has more, I guess. He's around more publicly than Mike Trout used to be when Mike Trout was the best player in baseball. But, he does like New Balance and like a couple other things in Japan. I mean, he's holding up face care, and face soaps and just like everything you can imagine. His face is everywhere. And I think the contrast of kind of how big he is in Japan versus and it's not surprising, but it was still a little bit like, everywhere I look, this guy's face is just like staring at me and smiling, and you can't hate it. I guess what I'm trying to get at.
Well, he makes Aaron Judge's salary in off-field money. Alex Bregman money. He makes Alex Bregman money off the field. I mean, I don't know. Like, I guess maybe he would be more, I guess, like plastered all over the place in the States if he was a Nike guy.
Yeah, that's fair.
Definitely.
Fair. That's fair.
Yeah. Although I will say, like, because obviously I stream all the games. I watch all this shit on MLB TV because I'm out in the great state of Iowa, so not exactly I'm getting them fucking local.
You live in Iowa, Hogdale?
Yes, I'm Iowa's greatest representative.
Isn't Iowa like the that's like the Bermuda Triangle of streaming Major League Baseball? You guys are like blacked out from 9 different teams.
Dude, there's so many fucking times a season I gotta whip the VPN out because like we're playing like one of the 80 million fucking teams that are blacked out here.
Yeah,
it makes me want to die so much.
Sucks.
It's So like fucking, I've seen that Shohei Ohtani New Balance commercial, I think 12 billion times. I've seen it so often.
Because they play it on MLB TV.
Yes, like every other commercial is that exact same Ohtani New Balance commercial.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
I am surprised at how I guess infrequently he appears outside of MLB TV streams, just walking down the street.
Yeah. Shout out Iowa, by the way. We love
Great state.
Yeah.
Cold
Shout out
as
Cedar
fucking
Rapids.
balls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out
for its
Trent.
many exports, such as
Corn.
Yeah.
Yep.
corn and
Eggs.
Hogdale.
Hogdale.
And Hogdale. Yeah. Iowa's
Taking
greatest export.
Yeah. I'm competing with Seth Rollins and Brock Lesnar for Iowa's biggest export.
And Slipknot.
And
Okay. Wow. That's actually a pretty elite crowd.
Seth Rollins is from Davenport,
Yes, it is.
and
Okay.
Slipknot is from Des Moines.
Yes,
Did,
sir.
did Brock Lesnar go to Iowa as a collegiate athlete?
I don't think so, actually.
No, he didn't. Okay.
No.
I
His
forget
grandma
where
is from Iowa, though, and he grew up in Iowa. So that's how he's a Iowa.
So I know Iowa is a really big. They're like Alabama with football. Iowa with wrestling. They're like the program.
Yes.
he went to
Yeah.
the University of Minnesota. That's what it was.
Okay.
There you
Yeah.
go.
That makes sense too.
People
That makes sense too. It's
Motherfucker.
that farm boy strength.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, also Caitlin Clark, another great Iowa export.
Mm.
She grew up.
that's a
in
new
Iowa.
one.
Yeah.
Wow.
We're on the
So
fucking
back
come up.
on baseball. Had you?
Can we
done
talk
what
about
I had
baseball on this
done?
show?
Yeah, technically.
We try.
I mean, it's more the Hogdale show, but there's a lot of
Yeah.
baseball in Hogdale. But had you done what we had done here and just kind of talked yourself into Nolan Arenado?
Yeah. We put out we were 2 hours into a podcast recording when the Bregman news broke. And that 2 hour podcast was, all right, Nolan Arenado is our third baseman. Like, Bregman's not happening.
Yep.
Because I mean, I had talked to Bregman a week prior and it was status quo. It was like, yep, like this is where we're at. And I was like, okay. I mean, he didn't say that, this isn't happening, but I made my own determination based on the facts. I was like, okay, so this is like 2 + 2 is not adding up here. Like we're not getting to where we need to be if this is what the Red Sox offer is. And so his wife is super pregnant. And at the time he was like, yeah, like, we're going to have a baby any day here. And when he said a baby any day, this is now like 2 weeks ago. And I believe Breslow said this morning, like, we're about to have the youngest member of Red Sox Nation.
Yeah.
Which means, like, she hasn't had the baby yet. So I texted him Tuesday and I was just like, do we got a baby yet? And he didn't answer. So I was like, it's very unlike him to not respond, or at least say like, can I call you later or something like that. So didn't hear from him about the baby and then get the FaceTime during the podcast. And like, in my mind still was so convinced it wasn't happening that when Coley was like, oh shit. And then he calls, I'm like, please don't. Like, it felt like he was calling me to be like, don't crush me, but it's the Yankees. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I wanted to make this happen, but this was the best fit for me. Like, because that's what some players, like, won't name names. That's what some players have done in the past. If they go to the Yankees, they call me to apologize first. So like,
Jeez,
this wouldn't have been the first time that a player had apologized that they were going to the Yankees and like asking for mercy. So that's what I thought that phone call was. And then he obviously pans down and shows Knox, his son, wearing a Red Sox cap. And I was like, no fucking way. Just did not for a second believe that this was a thing, because we just had done 2 hours of Nolan Arenado talk. Like we just like, this is done. And it was done. Like there was basically a deal in place. If Bregman to the Cubs is breaking news, then I would venture to guess it would have taken 10 minutes before we got some sort of breaking news that Arenado was traded to the Red Sox. So like, that's how close it was. Like, it was pretty much waiting there for Bregman.
So it's fair to say there was definitely framework there.
It was like handshake agreement. Like,
Okay.
here's what we want. Here's what we want. And it's contingent on Bregman. Like the
Okay.
Cardinals were aware that you guys want Bregman. If he doesn't take your offer, then we can just punch this through. Okay, cool. Done.
Okay. And that's we heard a lot of names being floated around, and we saw there was a specific tweet that I think was shared among our circle, and there was actually, you know, some internal news that we have heard from different people that we kind of corroborated with each other and our people as well. And we heard a bunch of names, and you know, the catcher, Ivan Herrera, I don't want to get his name wrong. That's you know, we heard him being as a possibility of coming over as well. So it's good to hear, I guess, that we weren't kind of led astray as far in regards to there being a deal pretty much there waiting to happen. But I think overall it worked out regardless.
The weirdest thing about being a podcaster is like randomly having sources now.
Yeah.
Like I'd be like, yeah, I'm aware of some of the inner machinations of what my favorite baseball team is doing. It's the fucking weirdest thing ever. It's good to know our
that's
sources
just
are
from
good.
people liking you. That's like, you wouldn't have to be a podcaster for that. You probably have like national secrets that people just tell you.
Yeah, I mean, like I think there. I forget what I don't want to say what trade it was because I don't want to like out the team or the person.
Yeah.
But there was
and Manuel Valdez being a starting shortstop, I believe. That's
yeah. Those are always the best tweets from him. He's just wrong about everything. But yeah, there was like, you know, random. There'd be like a team, like I guess like trainer or there'll be like someone that works in the mail room, and it's like, yeah, I've had someone say I work in the mail room and I just saw this guy come through presumably for his physical. Like I think like this is happening, and then it did happen.
Interesting.
So you'll get random people from all walks of baseball life just reaching out being like, hey, you know, if you want to run with this or if you want to poke around on this, like here's what I heard, here's what I saw. And I don't always run with it, you know, like I think if it doesn't have to do with the Red Sox, usually I'll just like pass it off to like any like other reporters to be like, you know, here, like you can do more with this than I can. Like, I'm not going to poke around to see if this player is signing with the Cardinals. Like I personally don't care. Like if I tweet this, no one gives a shit. So like, here's a lead.
Yeah.
And you can use it if you'd like. I don't care. But yeah, it's always interesting to I guess like hear the rumors, see what ever becomes of them. Some of them come to fruition and it's cool. It's exciting. It's like, oh shit, I guess that one was right. I guess the guy at the car dealership, when he saw this guy walk in saying that he wanted to buy a car in the area, that he did sign with that team. That's cool. But yeah, it's always wild to see, you know, how people on the outside try to make the connections and make it baseball related.
Yeah, that was indeed Alex Bregman at Logan Airport, by the way. Checking in.
Yeah.
That is like the single.
I can't believe he has those.
Yeah. That's like the oldest, I think, Boston sports meme. That meme has been around.
Yeah,
I want to say for a decade now. Like,
you can't kill it. You can't kill it. No matter how hard you try, you can't kill it.
No.
Hey, Jared, can I ask? I'm kind of late on the Tristan Casas train, right?
Mm-hmm.
It took me a little while, not because I'm old, not because I hated anything, just because I just want to see. I want to see it done on a consistent basis, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I have two questions real quick. One, can he just keep the beard? Like, can we get, because when you see him in the, I'm like, that's what got me all in. I was like, yep, I need this all day long. The second question, so can you get that message? We need
absolutely
that.
Yeah, I'm with you, by the way. I agree with you. Like he
Yep.
needs the beard, like he needs to have aura. And
Buzz the hair.
The younger fans think he has aura regardless. It's not true. He needs the beard. Yeah.
Yep. So the other one is, if it was contingent, let's say Dylan Cease on Casas, are you in on that?
Oh my God.
As a baseball move.
Oh my God.
No,
because I'm not either.
Not for a rental, and probably not. Period. I think it would have to be. It would have to help the logjam somehow.
Mm-hmm. Right.
if you're trading Willier, a player that I really like, it's like, okay, you're getting a nasty starting pitcher, but you're also freeing up space in the outfield. Now it's kind of like, all right, do you free up first base for Devers? But like, how confident are we that Devers is going to be a good first baseman? I don't know. Not saying like Casas is a great one either, but at least you can expect league average. I don't know what to expect from Rafael Devers at first base. No clue. But yeah, I also just believe in the upside of Casas. Like I still believe that there's 40 homers in there somewhere, and there's a 400 plus on base percentage in there. Like I believe in the 900 OPS plus ability of Tristan Casas. So I wouldn't trade him for the rental of probably anybody. Like I don't know. I don't like it would have to really be like the missing piece for this team. And I don't know who that person would be. But yeah, I'm still I'm with you. I need to see it. I'm somewhere in the middle because like Tyler thinks that Casas walks on water.
I'm right.
And I want to slap him in the mouth every time he tweets about Casas because I'm like, if you're trying to convince the Casas haters to like him, you're doing the opposite. By jamming Casas positivity down everyone's throats that already doesn't like him, some reasons valid, some reasons borderline insane. You're not doing Tristan any favors. Like Tristan probably wants you to shut the fuck up because he wants to go out there and just prove it, because the only person that has the ability to convert the Casas haters is Tristan Casas. He has to go out there, have a monster season, and be like, this is what I'm capable of. This is a repeatable season, by the way. This wasn't a blip on the radar in my career. Like there are certain guys where I'm trying to think of an example that'll, like Ellsbury, right? Like Ellsbury hit fucking 32 home runs and drove in 100. Like that was a blip on the radar. That's not who he is. If Casas did that, I'm not saying with like the speed, defense, and stolen bases part of it, but like with the home runs and RBI aspect of it, the slug part of it, you would be like, okay, like this is what we can expect moving forward. And that's all he needs to do. Because if he's doing that and you still hate him, then you're just an asshole because you just don't like the personality or whatever. And it's like, if he's producing, I don't care what his personality is. As long as he's not a bad teammate, as long as he's not an asshole to the people in the room and dragging them down, if he's just a little quirky, who gives a shit? Like he would not be the first quirky player on a good baseball team. That's just every good baseball team has guys that have that personality. But I think the last episode or 2 episodes ago, I had compared him to Pedro. And I'm sure, Brady, you remember, like the days that Pedro wasn't pitching, he was the biggest goofball on the team. But on the days that he was pitching, he was the scariest dude on the planet. Like you would get in the batter's box and pray for your life if you were facing Pedro Martinez. But if it was 2 days after start day, he's gonna take some duct tape and he's gonna tape you to the pole in the dugout, and he's gonna be dancing around and growing his hair out and having handshakes with everyone on the team. And there's clearly places for that with that type of personality. Casas, we all remember when he drew that walk in Tampa and he screamed and he threw his bat. Like,
that was awesome.
He's got crazy competitive energy. Like he can be that locked in, focused, like psychopath in between the lines. Who cares if he's a goofball when he's not playing? Who cares if he goes to the All-Star game and does a TikTok show? Who cares if when he's not in the lineup and ESPN Baseball wants to ask him to hold a microphone and be goofy in the dugout? Who cares? Like what difference does it make?
I think I am a very big Tristan Casas advocate for sure. And I think I've kind of learned there is a very thin line to walk between trying to convince someone who doesn't like Casas that he is capable of being a very, very, very good hitter. And when it comes to these people that just can't stand him, you can't make them like him or his personality. That's just the wrong thing to do. You can't, like you said, Jared, you can't jam his personality down other people's throats. And it's kind of irrelevant unless he's a convict, like you can't, which he's not, but you can't jam his personality down other people's throats. So
I think that there's projection also that people put. They'll
Yeah.
see him and they'll put the intentions behind what he's doing or whatever into it. Like with him doing the yoga, and people say that he's like looking for attention or whatever. It's like, well, you can't really prove that or anything. Like you're just assuming that that's what it is. So you're not going to be able to change their mind on that, though.
Yeah, and that's fine. We get to reap the rewards of watching a really good baseball player, a hitter who we saw was a top 25 hitter in the second half of 2023. So I'm really looking forward to him being a constant presence in the clubhouse again and on the field. And I think the Netflix documentary is going to sway some people from one side to the other.
It is.
Yeah.
He's like one of the stars of it. Him and Duran are like the stars of it.
That's awesome.
Dude, I love that Tristan Casas talks about dudes who throw 90 miles an hour the way we do. Like, of like, Tristan, what the fuck are you doing, man? He can't get anything past you. He's throwing fucking 90.
Yeah.
That's the best.
Yeah.
Like, I love this guy.
Yeah. I did like a 2-hour sit down with the Netflix people, and if I'm remembering correctly, like the only players they really even asked me about were Casas and Duran. So I was like, all right, yeah, let's talk about it. But I think that'll be great for both of them. I think if you're the Netflix people, you got to be sitting there being like, fuck, like we missed the good shit by a year, like we would have had a real good story, or at least if they extended into, if they wanted to really dive into it and they extended into this spring training, then they would have had a real good story. But either way, I'm excited. I'm excited to see it. What is it? April 8th that comes out?
April 8th, which I think is a bit too late. It would have been perfect if it came out like around 2 weeks ago. Yeah, around now would have been great. But April 8th, when we're starting to get into the thick of early baseball, I think it's going to be hard for me to. I will make time for it, but I think it's going to be hard for a lot of people to kind of make time between watching the actual games and the documentary at the same time.
Right.
Well, yeah, it's like it's the 2025 season. I don't need to watch the 2024 season. I know how it ends.
I've already turned the page. I
think it's less about the story of how the season went, and it's more about like the characters. It's more about the story of Jarren Duran making it to the All-Star game and the tennis racket and like that, and then just Casas like diving into his psyche. Like I think that they're gonna go there. Like I don't I think it's gonna be less about because they did leave for what, 2 months?
Yep.
You're trying to tell the story of the team. You're not leaving for 2 months. Like you're kind of just profiling players at that point.
When the rumor was Netflix ran out of money. Remember that narrative that happened for like 2 months? They're like, yeah, Netflix ran out of money, so they just they can't be there anymore. And then all of a sudden they just show up again. That was funny.
They did go over budget though.
Did they? That's an actual thing. Okay.
I don't know. They might have also been like, this team sucks and this isn't worth our time, but I know they did go over budget for the project. Yeah.
Jared, how do you get yourself to be a larger voice for the MLB, like as a whole? Right? Because here's the thing I want to get to is you get it, right? You're talking about college baseball and the energy and the enthusiasm. My son's 13. He's a travel baseball player. He loved Nick Pivetta, not for the pitching, but for every other big off the mound. Like, yep, that's what he loves. He loves Jarren Duran's fire, running with his hair going off. He's excited for Casas, like the whole bit. That's what baseball needs. If you want to talk about bringing in young fans, that's it. It is not, we follow a certain code of unwritten rules. Like, that's not what kids are into. Why do kids like football? Touchdown celebrations. Like they all mimic it. How do you get that message to people to actually need to understand that's what baseball needs to bring it in, right? You want to speed up the game, cool, a little bit here and there, increase stolen bases. Great. That is exciting. It's athleticism. But how do we get that message out?
I think it takes a large community buying into that. And I think they are doing that. If you remember, what was it? Yermin Mercedes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like, and then you had Tatis. I think it was the same year. I think it was both 2020 or around there, having to apologize for swinging on 3-0 and hitting home runs. And like, we're still in it a little bit, but then I think you also kind of see, I don't know, the first name that came to mind was Marcus Stroman. Like you see pitchers being like, all right, like if you guys are going to pimp homers, then we're going to pimp strikeouts and we're going to scream and stomp coming off the mound. So I think it more so takes like a mutual understanding of I can do this too. Like you need the pitchers to kind of buy in, because forever it was the hitters. Like we're going to hit these bombs and we're going to flip our bats and we're going to, take our time going around the bases. And now we've got dance moves, like you've got like the Euro step and all that going around third base and at home plate. You need the pitchers to stop being so sensitive and say, if you guys are going to celebrate your wins, then we're going to celebrate them too. And I feel like we're getting there. There's still more, the old school mentality to me lives more on the pitcher side than the hitter side.
Yeah, for sure.
But we are getting there. Like you're not going to see like Garrett Cole like stare you down after he's just old school. But a guy the Red Sox just got rolled is Chapman. Like he's got his thing where if he punches you out to end the game, like he'll stand there and stare at you. Like you kind of need two to tango so that both sides feel like, all right, if you do it, I'm going to do it. But this young influx of talent that I think we've seen over the last, I don't know, 6-7 years, kind of like when like Acuna came up and Tatis came up and like all these other guys, and like Bryce Harper was almost like the pioneer of it. Like I'm going to play hard, I'm going to celebrate my victories, I'm going to show my emotion, I'm going to play through injuries, I'm going to play like my hair's on fire. And his first year in the big leagues, like Cole Hamels drilled him for it. Like you're being told, hey, that's not the way we do it up here. Okay, well, Bryce Harper said, that's the way I'm going to do it. If you're going to hit me every time, I'll take the free base. Like you need the guy to say, I reject your stance. I reject the idea that this is how it's done around here. I understand I'm a rookie and you're the veteran, but this is how I play. If you don't like it, you have the option to drill me every single time. And I will take that every single time. I'll take the base. Why not? So I think we're getting there with these younger players now. I hate to say it, but you almost need some, it doesn't need to be 50-50, but you need some sort of balance of the old school way to kind of offset it, because same what we were talking about earlier, you need your baby faces and you need your heels. Like you need your story arc and you need your Madison Bumgarners that are going to say, I don't like that you just did that. And you can't all be happy-go-lucky, everyone just celebrating all the time. You need your villains and you need your heroes. But I do think that we're now in the point of baseball history where the type of energy and behavior that your son loves to see is the most accepted that it's ever been. It's not universally accepted. I don't think it ever will be, but I think we can continue to ascend with the approval rating.
I think players regulate themselves, especially with fan outcry and stuff. Because if you're celebrating too much or if you're doing too much, you're going to get labeled as corny, and no one wants to get labeled as corny. It's like there's already the societal pressure of that looming over, no matter what. Honestly, like with the celebration thing, this honestly ties back into like me making fun of old people over Tristan Casas, because like guys like Tristan Casas are guys like that I want everywhere. Show your personality. Don't be afraid to be you. The best part about baseball, the best part about sport is these guys being themselves and being the best versions of themselves. So seeing these guys show their individuality, it's like you said, Jared, like Bryce Harper really was the pioneer for this shit. People crushed him for years, but he stuck it out. He set that example for that next young wave of players. Like, you know what? It is fun. It's completely fine for you to just fucking pop off for your home run celebrations or for a walk-off. Show the emotion. Yeah, old people are going to be mad. And you know what? I'm doing my part by making fun of the old people who are getting mad so I can help normalize this.
Right. And it's like, you can get mad all you want. You're still going to watch.
Yes.
So true.
Exactly.
Who would be daring enough to actually pimp a home run off of Liam Hendricks is what I want to know. Because you really have to be confident in your hand skills, because that dude looks like the nicest guy off the field.
He is.
But man, I would not piss him off.
I don't know. I feel like he's intense, but he gets it too. I feel like he Like maybe he'll bark at you, but I think, like if you're going to be the guy that's out there screaming and stomping when you strike people out, then it goes both ways.
If
I will
not
say-
Liam Hendricks for a closing opportunity, who would you feel second most confident about as the roster is currently constructed? Who do you like? I'm all in on the Liam Hendricks. Like, I want it. I need to see it. I want it. But if he's not there, he's not available, whatever, he's got a scratchy throat, right? I want to put something negative in the universe. Who's your next guy up?
I mean, I feel like the correct answer is Chapman just because he has the experience.
Don't say the correct answer. Which one comes to your heart? Come on.
Slayton is
Mhm.
Slayton's the first name that comes to my mind just because I want to see him. Like, what does he do with the opportunity? Because the ninth inning is different. And I mean that in a good way. Like, I know that some people say, oh, the ninth inning is different. You might not be able to handle it. Okay, but what if the ninth inning is so different that it unlocks the next level from a positive way to look at it? Slayton's nasty. I don't know, like, what does this guy become in a pressure-packed situation? Like, hey, you've got it's a one-run game. You've got 2, 3, 4 coming up. Like, what do you got? Like, let's see. Like, is your shit nastier? Do you keep your composure? Do you start walking guys uncharacteristically? Like, what happens here? So if it's not Chapman because the experience factor, I think it's more the intrigue of seeing what Slayton becomes if given the opportunity. That's the direction that I would go.
I thought you were going somewhere else, to be honest with you. I was hoping you would.
Wait,
You
you think
know.
it was gonna go Whitlock?
Absolutely.
I'd
Come
rather
on.
he's way more valuable to me as a multi-inning guy.
Wait.
He's
So
very
hold on.
Yeah.
So you're telling me the most important person in the bullpen is the guy who can give me 2 1/3, not the guy who pitches the most important inning.
You got to get to the ninth before you can close it out.
You can't close it out if you got a guy who's afraid to take that ball in the ninth.
We don't know that he's not afraid to take the ball in the ninth.
I know what I saw from Garrett as a guy who was like, let me see it to believe it. Garrett Whitlock coming out of the pen. Ooh, that is something. He's not afraid.
He's not afraid, but we don't know what he is anymore. I think we fantasize about 2021 Garrett Whitlock a little bit too much. Tyler is the same way. Like, he think every year he's like Garrett Whitlock. Like, it's like, okay, like, yes, he was good in 2021. It's 2025 now.
Well, then they Daniel Barded him. That's what they did.
Daniel Barded himself, and I love Daniel Bard, but he did that to himself. He was Daniel Bard in 2012 said starters make more money, so I want to start. And then they made him a starter and he broke himself. The Red Sox always got blamed for it. But with Garrett Whitlock, he said, I'll do whatever you want me to do. I'll be the janitor of this team if you want me to be the janitor of this team. Yeah. So I think they never should have moved him from his role. I hate when it's like, man, this guy's nasty in this role. How do we fuck this up? How do we change it? How do we change it so that it's something other than the awesome thing that it is right now?
Yep.
And he's never been the same since. There's been a ton of injuries. He's also been through a lot. Like, personally, he's been through a lot. But I think at the end of the day, he's the guy for me that, hey, we've got a lead and there's we need to build the bridge to the ninth. We need to get to whoever it is, Hendricks, Slayton, Chapman, whoever it is. And we need 6 outs, call up Garrett Whitlock. Like that I feel confident in that role. And maybe it's the 8th and the 9th. I don't know. Like, doesn't have to be the 6th and the 7th, the 7th and the 8th. Maybe it's both. Brady.
Could Cutter Crawford be that guy this year?
No.
No, not the closer. No. That 2-inning guy, that multi-inning guy that comes in, the
in a one-run game, I would hate that just because he's so homer happy. Like, you can't.
Yeah.
Like, if it's a one-run game and you need 6 outs, I'm not bringing in the dude that gave up more home runs than anybody. I can't do it. Like, I would. It wouldn't even be his fault. It would be my fault if I put that guy in the game.
I feel like if there is a move to be made, Cutter's in that deal, right? It's so weird right now, his spot on the team, because they have the depth. They have the number 5. I feel like they like Giolito. Giolito's getting paid that good money. It's hard to imagine they throw him in the pen. Like, Cutter's just kind of in no man's land right now.
You know what I was thinking earlier was how much I guess we would feel even better about this offseason if we were like, they got Bueller, they got Crochet, they got Bregman, and they got Giolito, because he didn't even fucking pitch last year. Like, he was not a part of the 2024 Boston Red Sox. He's essentially joining the Red Sox in 2025. So, like, if you look at that haul, you'd be like, oh shit. Like, all right, yeah, this is pretty good. This is much different from the team of last year. Like, you're adding Giolito, Bueller, Crochet, Chapman, and Bregman. Like, yeah, okay, that's an off season. Yeah, I'm happy with that.
It's going to be a 3/5 different rotation this year when you put it that way. But I guess I just don't see why you would trade starting pitching depth when that's what everybody is looking for at the deadline. Like, injuries are going to happen at some point. And yeah, they have a lot.
We've gone over this. We have 10 arms. Like, you have the depth, even if you did trade Cutter.
Yeah.
You have it, but they're not really battle tested in the same way that Cutter is.
I mean, he's battle tested and he gave up the most home runs in the major leagues last year. He was pretty battle tested in that regard.
It speaks to a lot that the Red Sox are in a position that they can comfortably give up Cutter Crawford if they have to for a guy like Cease. And just getting a little bit ahead of myself, I think there is a move to be made for a possible extension if he comes here. He's not a Boris client, as far as I know, unless he's Cease. Yeah.
I thought he was a Boris client.
No, I Baseball Reference says aces. That could change though, because I think Baseball Reference isn't always accurate with that kind of stuff. But
yeah, it's Boris. He's a Boris guy.
Is he? All right, so. Yeah, I'll go fuck myself. I guess that.
Everyone's having a good time.
Yeah.
I'll be insufferable if we get Dylan Cease. By the way, I am going to be absolutely fucking insufferable because I like, holy shit. You think 95 is going to be an ambitious? I'll be saying like, this is a 100-win ball club, best team in the big leagues, motherfucker. Dodgers move over. You suck.
And I mean, they would be adding the most WAR in the entire offseason. By any team if they do get Cease. I think they're like second right now after adding Bregman, which is awesome. So I think this kind of goes, the last move to be made that is kind of the expectation is to watch out for the Crochet extension to happen sometime between now and opening day.
They really do need to get that done, man.
Yeah, I think they will. I mean, I think that the expectation was that when he came to any team that he was going to be open to talking extensions with anybody, and it just so happens to be the Red Sox. And I think the Red Sox, they wouldn't have brought him on if they didn't think they didn't want to extend him. So I think it's definitely going to get done. I'm positive that it's going to get done. Nothing in life is guaranteed, I guess. So can't put 100% official on it, but let's put it this way. I'd be shocked if it didn't happen. And I'm not saying I have source or anything like that about that situation, but I just from a gut feeling.
I just talked to Crochet at the fucking coffee shop, kid. Like, it's getting done.
Jared, what's your feelings on the rotation real quick? Like, is Crochet, is he an ace or is he a number one?
I think he's an ace.
I like that.
You strike out fucking 14 per 9. I mean, how many other starters can say that they can do that? And we still need to see it. Like, we saw it for a half season. Mm-hmm. But I liked how he came out and said it wasn't me that limited my innings in the second half. Like, it wasn't that I ran out of gas. It was their plan. They made me stick to it, and I felt like I could go. So I'm interested to see like what a full season of starter Garrett Crochet looks like. But if you were to ask me, what does that look like without having seen it? What do you think it looks like? Well, yeah, I do think it looks like an ace-like season. I do think it's a top 5 Cy Young voting season. Whether he wins it or not, who knows? But I do think that he has the ability to be that guy and go on a run where you're top 5, top 10 Cy Young voting for 7 years or whatever it is. Yeah. So but again, like, one of the things that he said during the same press conference was, like, I'd love to talk extension, but part of me kind of wants to go into the season and see what that looks like on the other side. I'm like, fuck, dude, like, throw this dude the bag. Like, what are we doing? Like, you're basically what, 5-6 weeks away from costing yourself another $150 million with this guy.
Yeah.
You know,
Easily,
if
easily.
he goes out there and puts up a Cy Young runner-up season, and you could have got him for like 150. Now it's like, all right, hey, like what's Garrett Cole make again? You know, let's see.
And it would be justified too. He
Yeah.
wouldn't be wrong in thinking that either.
No.
But
How about
hopefully-
Houck? What do you think what we saw last year? It's a lot of workload increase from previous. Is it fair to expect some kind of regression? Not fall off the cliff, right?
I
Whatever.
think he's going to be better.
Damn, that's hot.
Yeah, I think he's
Then
going
how
to
do
be
you
better.
not have them as a 110 win team?
Wow.
Right? So you just told me I got an
Wow.
ace, and I have
150 and 12.
Come on.
Yeah.
Right?
I think
I
he's
didn't
going to
get
be
your
better.
number down before, Brady, so I'm putting you down for 110 wins for your prediction for them.
110 wins.
Mark it down. Yep.
Mark it
Yeah,
down. Yep.
I think he's going to be better. I think when I see the workload that he took on last year, I don't see that as like, oh, well, is he going to be out of gas next year? Like, no, it's like now his body's used to it. Now you can take the training wheels off. It's, he's been in the big league since what, 2020? Like, he's not young anymore. It's not someone that you have to be careful with anymore. Like, I understand he had that major back surgery, which was no joke, but it should be all systems go. You're a big league starter. You got to prepare all offseason to be a big league starter. Even last year, it was like until Giolito went down, Houck wasn't even going to be in the rotation. So like that mental preparation of I'm showing up to spring training. I have no idea what my job is going to be versus I'm showing up to spring training. I pitched in the fucking all-star game last year and I'm a starting pitcher for the Boston Red Sox. It's just a wildly different world. You can reset your mentality. Your confidence is through the roof because you don't have to prove anything anymore. Like the only thing you have to prove now is I can be even better than that. And I do believe that he can be better than he was last year.
Let's talk better than last year. Let's talk about another guy, Brian Bayo.
I want him to be good so bad. I want him to be good so bad. I love Brian.
I want him to be good too. I think he'll be just fine. Like I don't think he's gonna. I think his ceiling is a number 3. And when we talked about that, when he signed the extension, it was like, whoa, really? For a guy whose ceiling is probably a number 3. Like I don't know why the expectations ever went higher than that. I think it's not a knock on him. Like a number 3, like you're getting a start in the postseason. Like you're making the postseason rotation if you're a number 3.
You don't think the improved defense of Bregman, God willing, a full year of Trevor Story, right? That kind of left side of the infield for a pitcher like Brian Bayo. That doesn't. I mean, that's got to help.
Thing is, Houck is the most supreme ground ball pitcher of all time, and he had a great season last year. Like Houck was 100th percentile ground ball percentage with that dog shit fucking infield, and he still had a great season. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't want to hear that as an excuse for Bayo. Like, just perform, brother.
Bayo, first half Bayo, my least favorite pitcher of all time. Second half Bayo was more than acceptable. I hated the whininess. I hated the antics. I hated watching him pitch from behind all the time.
Yeah.
But I don't know. My hopes are somewhere, 3 3/4, 3.75 ERA, keep the whip around 115, 120, the walks, keep them down. I think he's capable of that. And I think he's capable of being a good major league starter, but no part of me is like, man, there's ace capability in there.
Walker Buehler on a 1-year deal.
That's a dog right there. I think it's more. I don't think it's an ability thing. I think it's a health thing with him. 2 Tommy Johns, very difficult to have that life in the league after that. He's obviously trying to become the next Nathan Eovaldi. Like how many dudes get clipped twice and can say that they were as good as they were before that? So I'm rooting for him. He's a great guy. I know that he will not be intimidated by the Boston market, the fan base, the expectations. I'm sure he's going to be a guy that, despite what the results are on the field, that the younger guys will look to and be like, this is how it's done, at the big league level. Like that's a good influence to have. But I think it all comes down to health for him. If he's healthy, like he's probably in the same like Bayo tier where it's like 375 to 415, you know.
But
I
he
think
turned down multi-year deals. No,
Did he?
I thought from the Red Sox what it was reported that they wanted to do, let's say, a 2, potentially even a 3-year deal with Buehler, and that he wanted the 1-year deal because from what I read, if that's a true statement, this is a guy who then he must be feeling pretty good about where he's at health wise.
Sure.
You know, if that's a true statement, I got to assume that there's teams out there would definitely willing to give more than a 1-year deal to Walker Buehler, seeing the way that he ended last year.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not about how you start, sometimes how you finish. Hogdale knows that better than anybody, right?
Shut the fuck. Every 5 minutes on the damn show.
Yeah. You deserve it.
Yeah.
And again,
Yeah.
Giolito went from your number 1 to your number 5.
Yep.
Like,
Yep.
I mean, how do you not have him at 120 wins?
You gotta be
120 now.
Oh, he's
You went up
120
10 wins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
10.
I didn't say I do. I didn't say I do. I'm asking just, rhetorically here.
just
Like,
simply presenting to the panel, of course.
that's all.
I think shit happens, right?
Yeah,
Like
you upped your number, right? It's not 89 anymore, right?
it's still
He's in 89.
91.
He's a man who's got courage in his convictions, and I we respect
If
that.
it's not 89, it's 91. I gotta
91.
know is Christian Campbell the second baseman or not? Is he
Yeah.
breaking
That's
camp?
fair.
By
Yeah.
May 1st. May 1st.
I gotta know what kind of team am I looking at? Because I think like Walker Buehler, realistically, we're talking a 4.5 ERA guy.
He's a
Lucas
dog.
Giolito probably around the same, maybe. Like I don't know.
It's good rotation.
It's a
Very,
good
very
rotation. Like
Very, very good.
you're gonna have a chance to win every 5th day, which is
Mm-hmm.
nice. Like just give me a chance to win. And we were talking earlier about is it a top 10 offense? Yup. Like the potential could be like it all comes down to the infield defense too. This was a team that led all of baseball in unearned runs last year.
Yes, that is definitely the correct stat.
Yep.
So you
I
improve that
wanted-
infield defense. You scored at a top 10 offense pace, and you've got a chance to win every 5th day or every 6th day. I don't know. They keep saying 6-man rotation. I just don't see how that's going to be a thing,
No.
especially if like Cutter is still not feeling great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that this could be a 91 win team.
Hey,
Climb
yo,
that ladder,
all right.
climb that ladder.
Be 91.
Do you think they're adding another bullpen piece in? Because there are still, I mean, nobody that really excites me. Dave Robertson would be a really interesting fill-in for the Chris Martin role. But beyond that, it's like Kyle Finnegan, Phil Maton. Maybe they make a trade for a Suarez or a Doval. But do you think that they're going to add one more to the bullpen?
Suarez's name came up not too long ago. I forget which episode it was. I think we bleeped it out. But there was
Oh, okay.
yeah, there was like I was talking about like a trade and we like bleeped it out and like the Reddit went crazy and they're like, who was it? Like it was Suarez. Like it was like I didn't even like I felt too embarrassed to like go in there and like say who it was because I think they were expecting it to be, like Shohei Ohtani or something. And I was like, no, it's just a reliever from the Padres. I mean like Suarez is a player that they've discussed. Robertson is interesting just because he's still out there. Like if you're trying to, it's February 16th. So it's like, if you were trying to pitch this year, you probably want to get to camp quick. So like, can they take advantage of that situation? Maybe, to the question, like I was talking to Tony Maz this morning and he asked me if they were done. And I said, are they going to make another move or are they done? Or two different questions. Like I can't sit here and tell you that they're going to make another move, but I don't think that they're done. I don't think that you can be done. I think that you have to at least be looking at the reliever market and saying to yourself, like, is this individual someone that makes us better? Is this individual better than the last reliever in our bullpen? Okay, then like let's do that. But if they were to make a move, I think that's where you're probably looking. I think it's maybe the catcher situation, although I don't see them making a move there. But if there is a move to be made, it still is in the bullpen, and that could come via signing or trade at this point. Like I wouldn't rule out either.
Are Are you ruling yourself out as a potential fit for the Red Sox bullpen for the 2025 season?
Good question.
No, I'll be down there
Yeah.
a week from yesterday. And I mean, obviously we're going to have to do a rematch, me versus Bregman.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I don't like his chances. Like I really like I'm
Let's go.
bigger, stronger,
Mhm.
and he's older. I don't like his chances. I'm more confident. 2019 Jared, he was just starting out in the world. Like he was just becoming an adult. Like now I have dad strength. Are you shitting me?
Yeah. No, I don't like his chances either. Honestly.
And it would be at Red Sox spring training, not Astros spring training. So I understand you play for the Red Sox, but it's really my home field. Yeah. So I don't know that I like his chances. And that video is going to be seen by a lot of scouts, obviously. And listen, if the Red Sox call, like they have first dibs, but I'm not promising that they're going to be the team that I would pick.
Fair enough.
What if the Yankees offer you a multi-year deal, Jared?
No. So the last episode of Section 10, I told the story about how I was in EMT school until they said that I had to shave my beard and I dropped out. So like my main point was because I was talking to Dallas about this on Baseball's Dead because the Devin Williams thing came up where he had to shave his beard and everyone was complaining about it. I was like, he's the best reliever in baseball. What if he just said no? Like he was traded here.
Literally.
He didn't come here willingly. And you're asking him to shave his beard. Like what happens if he says no?
That is a good question. Would they go as far as fining him? Like I don't.
What if he just doesn't pay? Like
yeah,
what are you gonna do? Like you can't enforce that rule. Like legally, like it's just one of those things where it's like, all right, come on, man, it's tradition. You know, it's the Yankees.
Yeah.
All right, what if it were me, someone who genuinely fucking hates them, and it's like I just happen to be really good at baseball, but I fucking hate your organization, and you traded for me because I'm the best reliever in baseball and you need me. All right, cool. Like I showed up here because legally I work for you, but I work for Major League Baseball. Like Major League Baseball doesn't have a rule that says that you can tell me I have to shave my face. So I'm keeping this beard. I've had it since 2011. Like, what are you gonna do if I say no? You're gonna fine me? What if I don't fucking like give you money? I'm just gonna go out there. You're gonna trade me? I don't think so. I feel like I make your team better if I'm the best reliever in baseball. There just needs to be that guy who says no, and it's just a huge missed opportunity that it didn't get to be me. I would have loved to have been that guy.
I don't even think that it's a written rule for the Yankees. I think it's just like an expectation,
it's George Steinbrenner. Like he's dead. He's fucking dead.
Yeah,
if I could understand if Hal took over the Yankees and George was on his deathbed and you're like, we just want to honor his wish until he dies, and then after that, you know, we'll loosen it up a little bit. Like we'll do beards, but like we'll have to keep them tight, and you know, you can't just like look like a homeless person. That's fine. But they're still doing the no facial hair thing, and George has been dead for what, fucking a decade at this point? When did he die?
2000. It was like right around the time when they won the World Series in 09, I believe. I think he was like, you know, he just died right before they won it all.
July 13th, 2010 is when George.
2010.
Okay, yeah.
He's been dead for 15 years. Like, what are we doing?
I don't know.
Has there been a single Yankee player in the last 15 years where like they donned the Yankee jersey, shaved their beard, and looked better?
No.
Not one.
No, not Verdugo?
No.
Oh God, he looked horrible.
Hold on 1 second. I have to take this.
No bumper.
Hold on. I don't even know how to pause this.
How do I mute?
We can just mute him. Yeah.
We can just move you. Don't worry
We got
about it.
we got you.
Got it.
Anyways, yeah, Alex Verdugo looks like Rosie O'Donnell when he's clean shaven, and that's rough.
That's not inaccurate, actually. Now that you mention it, this is a hilarious image right now. I got to take a screenshot of this.
Yeah. Dude, they all look like fucking dweebs. Like every time I see a Yankee player, like this is why I'm so happy that Juan Soto is a Met and not a Yankee. It's like I don't have to see him with that collective group of fucking losers for the next 15 years.
Yeah.
And I don't have to force myself to hate him. Like it makes me so happy.
You know what, like just thinking back, maybe like Andrew McCutchen, but Andrew McCutchen's the kind of guy that he's just like a generally handsome guy, like, you know, clean shaven or not clean shaven. Like he was out there for, I think, 1 year. But
Charlie Blackmon probably would look better if he got traded to the Yankees.
I don't think so.
That's not a good beard.
I don't think so.
If I have to see Charlie Blackmon not look like a wild homeless person, then like I don't want to see him play baseball in general.
Have you seen Charlie Blackmon look clean shaven, Brady?
No.
There is a picture out there.
It's probably fucking horrific.
I don't know. Maybe I'm not ready for that. You know, that's a pretty. I don't know.
Oh God, I was looking at it. No, he looks like fucking Captain Generic. He looks like the most generic person I've ever seen in my entire life. White baseball player number 8 after being auto-generated in MLB The Show.
Yeah. Here, let's see. No beard.
My God, we love to see it.
He looks like auto-generated. That's a really good.
Charlie Blackmon sounds beard.
That is a white man. He is a white man.
He is, for sure.
Is he still playing? Is he done now? He's all.
Yeah, he's done. I think he's a special advisor to the general manager for the Rockies. I think that's.
I'd love to have a job as a special advisor. Like, what is
What
that?
are the requirements to work
great.
for the Rockies front office? Because they have not a goddamn
live near Colorado. Maybe I think that's it.
Do
honestly.
you carry Dick Monfort's golf bags for him? If you do that, then like you can have a position with the Colorado Rockies.
Yeah.
Oh God, he is the most generic guy.
Yeah.
Wow.
I just don't say he needs the fucking beard to look like a wild man. He needs it.
Yeah. There it is.
Terrible.
There it is.
That's not good.
Yeah.
It's like I need to grow a beard fucking immediately. I'm never gonna stand out in the crowd, brother. It's just not gonna happen.
It's just like maybe he let it go a little too far. You know what I mean? Like it was too far. His more had like a pubescent kind of look to it. You know, not really burly, more so scary. Scraggly, I believe is the actual technical term.
Scruffy.
Scruffy.
A little bit of scruffy. A little fucking scruffy, dude.
I do need Casas to get me that beard though.
By the way, I just want to say this because we didn't say it in the beginning of the show. This show is brought to you by Beyond the Monster.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
I gave it to Hogdale, expecting him to do it, and he didn't. So not so easy, is it, Hogdale? Huh?
I was busy introducing the fucking special guest. Like you were supposed to say.
Yeah, you were so busy that you couldn't remember who's making this all possible.
On the fucking tweet, like when we like announce the show, I'm gonna like just quote tweet it and just say brought to you by Beyond the Monster. That's the only thing I'm gonna fucking.
You should.
Is Ed? I meant to ask you this. Is there a the Trustometer? What is that looking like right now?
Oh, you want to know about the trust?
Yeah.
Holy shit! Yeah, let me. I think I pinned it. I think I actually remembered.
Oh, did you?
Shit.
Wait,
yeah,
no. So the layout, because I think who came up with that really cool speedometer looking? Is that Chris?
That was Chris Henrique.
Yeah, that I fully endorse that design.
Yeah,
that
was a no-brainer. Awesome. We're using it this year.
Yeah.
You know, unless we get bored and need another one, and then someone else can do it. But I think that's a pretty solid choice for this year. But yeah, you guys want to talk about the Trustometer?
Yeah. Do you want to do a Trustometer segment right now? Like with the music?
As good of a timing. I think Hogdale's the one that's got let me just get my favorite part of the Trustometer here, that Hogdale loves, the music. You ready for this, Hogdale? You ready for our first Trustometer of 2025? Can you go up there?
Yeah, I do have it pulled up.
All right.
Beautiful.
Oh, the first ever installment of the most trusted bullpen ranking in the United States of America. The Trustometer 2025 season first installment at number 12. We have no idea about this guy. We need to actually see him pitch. The Red Sox think he's pretty good, so maybe he is. But no trust built. Yeah, Justin Wilson. He's in the number 12 spot. Lefty with some very good stuff. We have no idea what he's going to look like in a Red Sox jersey, so it's completely valid placement. Number 11, young guy. Ed's first love, Hunter Dobbins. This dude won't shut the fuck up about Hunter Dobbins. He loves Hunter Dobbins.
Love that boy.
So that's why he has to be above Justin Wilson. valid.
Better.
I'm excited to see what he can do for us this season. At number 10, and you've already lost me because Hunter Dobbins should be above Josh Winkowski. I don't trust Josh Winkowski for shit. Get this motherfucker out of my bullpen. You can trade him. He's fine. He's okay.
And
In high leverage,
He's
absolutely
gonna be
not.
great. It's going to be great. Healthy foot.
At number
fine.
9, Cooper Criswell. Man, he really is still on this team.
Oh, I love Cooper Criswell.
We like
He's
Cooper
the
Criswell.
new Anderson.
He is. He's the new Chase Anderson. He's cool in that role. By the way, he wasn't as good in the Chase Anderson role as Chase Anderson. So hopefully he improves at the Chase Anderson role.
Well, I mean, how can you be better than the originator, though?
Yeah, than the
Sure.
God, the GOAT. Number 7. Number 8. First of all, I almost skipped Babibble. Brennan Bernardino.
I missed that.
He's still here. We love Bernardino. He'll probably, I don't know if he'll make the opening day roster, but I like him. I like Bernardino. Kind of burnt out the second half of last season, but still love what he's capable of. He's chill. Number 7. I was too excited. I jumped ahead at first. Liam Hendricks, the Australian man, the dude who wrestles with tarantulas and punches kangaroos. Hopefully he can be a good closer for the team this year, but we just have to see it.
He'll move up quick. He'll move up in a hurry if he looks like the Liam Hendricks of old. It just he hasn't thrown a major league pitch in like 2 years.
And not the old Liam Hendricks, correct.
It's completely valid. Honestly. Number 6, Greg Weissert, who sneakily had a good second half of the season last year after like kind of being uniquely terrible for like a month stretch, but he put together a solid season afterwards. He ended up being a fine pitcher for the Red Sox, a mid-tier reliever. So completely valid the number 6 spot. Number 5, some would say you're being aggressive, but I still like it, is Zach Kelly, who did burn out at the end of the second half of last year. He was battling through some shit. Yeah, had a really bad, really bad time for a couple weeks stretch, and it kind of sunk his season a bit, but he still has absolutely electric stuff. I'm excited to see him at some point this season. I'm so far from giving up on Zach Kelly. I like Zach Kelly. Number 4, dude, who was amazing when he came up, Luis Guerrero. This is a guy where, potential to be a closer if Slayton doesn't work out and if Hendricks doesn't work out and if they don't want to go with Chapman. Under the radar, Luis Guerrero has incredible stuff. He's got the mentality. I like him pitching high leverage innings. I'm not scared at all to see him there, so he deserves the number 4 spot. Number 3, Aroldis Chapman. Terrible guy. Amazing fucking pitcher. Some of the best stuff in the big leagues. Fantastic. Deserves to be in number 3. Not much more to be said there. Number 2, Garrett Whitlock. Incredible in 2021. We just need to see it again.
My closer.
He's a wonderful fellow. I don't mind the love for him here at number 2. Number 1, Justin Slayton, the guy who I said is going to be closer by the end of the year. And I'm right more often than not. So I'm looking forward to being right about that.
Very true.
And hey, Jared's back.
Sorry, I had to go talk to my third baseman.
Oh, good.
Fuck yeah,
how's he doing? Everything's cool?
It's doing great. Yeah, we're planning some content ideas. I think we're gonna try to mic him up for like a whole day down there, and
That would be actually so sick.
yeah, kind of how like we did like the YouTube video of McCoy with Lou. Like it was a
Fantastic video, by the way.
It was great. He's the best.
Yeah.
It was a Section 10 video. Like me and Steve were in it, but it was really Lou's video. I think like we're gonna try to do something like that with Bregman, but just like have it be like a day in the life spring training Alex Bregman Boston Red Sox type deal.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
But like an undercover boss for Alex Cora.
Yeah.
That could be.
We could probably get some really good stuff. Like that would be cool. I'm
Right?
excited if that
Love
works
AC.
out. Yeah.
Hogdale, do you want to finish up the Trustometer?
I did finish the trust fair. I said number 1, Justin Slayton.
Number 1.
Oh,
yeah.
wow, I missed that. Great timing then.
Yeah.
so
Perfect timing.
Oh,
Yeah.
Perfect timing.
Yeah, that was the Trustometer, the first one of the year. Can't wait for many more. Can't wait to see some bullpen movement.
Brought to you by Hogdale Stream. Listen and watch to his fucking stream.
If you don't watch my
Join the
fucking
stream,
stream, I
join
swear
the
to God, I'll
team.
fucking find you.
Dream.
damn.
We love that energy.
We
Yeah.
do.
Bring the personality, man.
So we're past 2 hours now. Is there anything? I don't want to starve you to death or anything, Jared. So let's empty the tank here. Like, does anybody have anything they want? They really need to get out.
This has been probably the coolest fucking show I've ever done. This was fantastic dialogue, and having a guest like you on, Jared. Don't want to blow smoke up your ass, but I mean this has been really fucking cool, man. So thanks for joining us.
I appreciate you guys. Thank you for having me. It's been fun to get on and chop it up with you guys, and
hell yeah,
we'll have to do it again when there's also more fantastic Red Sox news.
Yeah.
I mean, you technically almost had Bregman on this episode too.
Yeah, almost. This is
Yeah.
almost, very almost.
Special guest Alex Bregman too.
Yeah,
that's fucking awesome.
Yeah,
Jared, I want to thank you for coming on, man. I just want to tell you, I lost my dad. You gave him a shout out on an episode. I messaged you guys, and at the end, you gave a shout out. You said special shout out, R.I.P. John Brady Jr. I kind of lost the Sox for a while when I lost my dad.
Yeah,
you brought me back to it.
I appreciate that, man. I'm sorry again for your loss. That I couldn't even imagine, man. Like all of us with, and I'm sure the same thing with your son too. I mean, we get it. The baseball fandom runs through genetically. Like we don't have a choice. You know, it's passed down for sure. So, I mean, it's awesome to hear that you've passed that passion down to your son as well.
Yep.
And I'm sure he'll pass it again when he has the same opportunity.
What I will tell you is don't look too hard because you won't like what you're going to find. But I also passed down my hatred for Matt Barnes. I know he's a really good friend.
Yeah.
I don't need you, because I get it. Just know that it's real. I also passed that down.
He's one of those guys where if you met him, you love him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We gotta get that to happen, Brady. You and Matt Barnes.
No, Matt Barnes needs to know he's always my knob.
No one has ever said that to me about Pablo Sandoval. Oh, if you met him, you'd love him. they're like, no, if you met him, it would justify every negative thought you've ever had about him. You'd probably hate him even more.
Yeah.
But with Matt, if you met him, you'd love him. He's a great dude.
I think we have on recorded history now the longest Jared has ever gone without slandering Pablo Sandoval. It's 2 hours and 5 minutes. That's the cutoff. 2:06 is when it's going to come.
I thought about it though, because when we were talking about I forget what we were talking about. There was something I think you brought up like Hanley and left, and I was like, yeah. That fat motherfucker. I thought about it, so I guess I held back. That's progress.
That's good. That's good. We like to see that. Yeah.
I got one question for you to end it on, and Hogdale's going to hate me for this, but
I have a question for you, Ed. When you're done asking this question, I have a question for you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But my question is, what made you want to pick Hogdale as that one person that you were going to poach from anywhere else to join you and Tyler? What was it about Hogdale?
It's a layered answer. It's the passion. That's number one. It's the reason why you guys love him. Is the reason why I love Hogdale. Yep. It's the passion. It's the enthusiasm. It's the dedication. It's the youth that definitely plays a part too. Like, because you never want to have like you guys have a blend of like age range. Like me, Coley, and Steve are kind of all the same age. So Tyler gives us that, connection to the younger fan base that, we're in the middle. Like we're in that like middle generation. Like we're not older, we're not younger. Like we're just kind of like in midlife. It was all those things. And, it's the same thing. Like when I first saw Tyler, it's like, I saw a lot, like what you guys said earlier. I see a lot of younger Jared in Tyler. I see a lot of younger Jared in Hogdale. Like the passion when you're having like these videos and you're screaming and like, I know that it's not an act. Like I can tell, like there are some content creators out there where it's just so inauthentic and disingenuous and fake, Ben Verlander, and like, but then with Hogdale, I know he means it, and that is so invaluable. Where, like that's my superpower is, I'm never gonna stop because this isn't a job. It's what I care about. I watch every single game. I care like win or lose. Like it is life or death to me if it's a playoff run. And you look for those characteristics in people that you're going to make content with because like two like-minded forces come together and now you've got this mega force. And I mean, like that's Steve, that's Coley, that's obviously Tyler, that's Jake. That's you guys. Like you guys, I saw the Bregman reactions. Like you guys have the same thing. So that's the Pod on Lansdowne guys. Like that's why, like, like you guys and the Pod on Lansdowne guys, and Section 10, like that's why it all works as a cohesive unit, is because you guys all breathe and speak the same language. So I definitely would love to have you guys on at some point.
That'd be
But
fucking awesome.
I think that's why the machine runs the way that it does for you guys, the same way that it does for us.
Wow.
Fair enough.
Really appreciate
Yeah,
that.
appreciate that.
Yeah.
Thank you, man.
No doubt. My question for you, Ed.
Yeah.
How mad do you think Mike Carrista is going to be about this podcast?
Oh, God. Maybe it'll be what finally finishes him off. I don't know. But,
We can only hope.
oh,
So, did you know
yeah.
he's from my hometown?
I did know that actually, because he talks about it
Every day.
every day. That I think that what it is that he thinks that people should look at him the way that they look at you. I think
Which is wild.
I think that he thinks people should look at him the same way that people look at David Ortiz.
Yeah, that's not.
Yeah,
He's
that's
like,
not wrong.
I'm from Boston. I want to say he might have been roommates.
He was
with Kurt
he was
Schilling
Schilling's roommate.
way back in the day. So I
Yep.
only know about this dude.
which tracks.
I used to get my hair cut at a place called George's, and Mike was my barber, and I think he has a relationship with Mike, and he used to like always like tell me stories about him and be like, yeah, you know, he used Kurt, he's from Saugus. Like he would always like hype him up as like this nice guy, like normal guy.
Right.
And then I would see him pop up on Twitter. I'm like, is this the same fucking guy that you were talking about when I was little? Like I was a little kid getting a haircut, hearing stories about Mike Carrista. Now he's this like fucking roided up psychopath on Twitter that talks shit about me all the time. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And I know he hates you like poison. He hates Tyler. He basically hates any Red Sox fan that didn't play professional baseball. Is what I'm gathering. But if you have a platform, he hates you more. So, very, very strange behavior from that guy. He has me blocked. I don't even have him blocked. He blocked me.
Why would he? That's so bizarre. The whole thing is so bizarre.
If you search his tweets for my name, he will tell everyone that when I was living at home with my parents that I would jerk off in my mom's basement. So he'll either which like what child does, like that was where my brother was. What child didn't do that? I don't know. Like I don't know if it's
am I supposed to go on the porch? Like
I don't know. Yeah, like my bedroom was in the basement, so that checks out. But he'll either say that or he'll like tease it, like, oh well, did Jared ever tell you what he used to do in the basement of his mom's house? And that's what he's talking about. And it's like, well, I think we've all jerked off before. I think we can all agree that that's something that we've done. And I don't know why he's like being like, I know a dark secret about this guy. He jerked off when he was a kid. And I need people to know that. It's very weird. It's very, very strange. I think he needs help. But I noticed that he hates you like poison as well. So I was like, all right, we have that in common.
Yeah, no, it's a bonding experience, really, is being hated by a man that you're, with any luck, never going to meet and never going to have to.
I wanted to have him on the show and just berate him for like 3 hours.
I feel like that would be your Mona Lisa.
Yeah, I would.
Stairway to heaven is if you and Carrista ever got into a room to talk socks.
Oh my God, I would absolutely. Not only would I welcome it, I would excel at it. And it would be fucking awesome. But he still has yet to accept our invitation to.
We did
invite him on his level. You're not on his level. You don't have.
He has me blocked though. That's the thing. Like he blocked me too.
Yeah.
You know.
Ed, did you jerk off in Jared's basement too? Is that
what you did?
No, it wasn't Jared's.
The real dark
basement.
secret.
It was Tyler's, and it was
no, Ed, it's okay. Ed, tell the truth, man. It's okay. Like,
we won't judge you.
Yeah, maybe a little bit.
It was your basement, Brady.
Sweet.
Yep. Wow.
The rumor come out.
Yep, that makes sense.
There it is.
But I only did it because I love you.
Right. That's fine. I don't care why you did. The fact if you didn't, it would be rude. So, Jared, you're at 97 wins.
I'm at 120. I think I got.
Let's
Okay.
go.
Fair.
Yeah.
Fair.
Yep.
Shout out jerking off.
Yeah.
120. Shout out jerking off. That's the name of this episode. We're not even going to advertise.
Yeah,
It would be
yeah.
on this one.
Yeah. Shout out jerking off featuring Derek Carrabis.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Had to crank it, let one fly.
Yeah.
Win total up.
Mhm.
You don't even know how to jerk off the right way, Carrabis.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me teach you.
Yeah. He's
Sorry.
super weird, dude. Super weird, dude. But
In a super weird environment, I think he is actually the weirdest.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I guess there's another Red Sox podcast with some weirdos, but
Oh yeah.
No,
yeah,
we have
yeah.
no idea what one you're talking about.
Which
No way.
will remain nameless. I think
Yeah.
that's for everyone's benefit.
yes, yeah. But there's not no fan base has 100% good people.
No.
No, and the bigger the fan base, the more weirdos there's going to be. It's how it works
Sure.
with everything.
Sure.
Yep.
Completely true.
Before we wrap up, I just want to say Red Sox tier list. First one's coming out next week.
Heck yeah.
I think the Red Sox play Northeastern on Friday. I think I want to come out with it on Saturday morning before the because I know Tyler will be watching these spring training games like they're regular season games. So
Tyler is such
100%.
yeah,
Tyler's the greatest form of sicko, and I appreciate him so much for it. I cannot be bothered with spring training games, man. I will turn a spring training game on for one inning, realize that, oh wait, this sucks, and then go back waiting
and
for
that's it.
opening day.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
speaking a callback to something earlier in the show, I just pulled up Facebook and I saw a Facebook post that
Wow.
says, "Why is Bregman getting Jerry Remy's number 2?" Well,
Jeez.
I think I just had an aneurysm.
That is a Facebook take.
Yeah.
That is the Facebook take of all the Facebook takes.
mhm.
You know what? This actually kind of opened my eyes. We should actually on this podcast do like a segment where we just pull a Facebook Red Sox take and just laugh at it. That's a really good thing that I think we should do.
I'll just die of a brain aneurysm. This thing is
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
I don't comprehend.
If you want to dig one out every week, please be my guest. But I don't want to do that to myself.
No, I'll try and because I don't really have Facebook anymore. I just kind of lurk and I kind of use it for marketplace. That's pretty much what I do. But
Yeah, there's
I'll try
absolutely
and look for
no
one.
need to have Facebook at all.
No.
I only
So-
have Facebook to remember people's birthdays. That's the only reason why I have it.
Same here, basically.
yeah.
I'm such a bad guy,
I actually used to
remember.
use that feature when I saw someone's birthday on Facebook that I don't really care about anymore. I'd actually unfollow them or delete them on their birthday.
Happy
Beautiful.
birthday.
Yeah.
Screw you.
Yeah. No,
Nice.
I don't need to be friends with you anymore on this. So,
You're dead.
but all right.
We found
All
a
right.
beautiful
Well,
stopping point.
thank you again, Jared.
Yeah, thank you,
And
man.
We this was awesome, and we'll be back next week unless there's a Dylan Cease trade in 3 hours, and then we do an emergency pod and it makes this whole episode irrelevant. But yeah, we'll see y'all next time.